up this morning, I crawled out of my bed. My back was really aching, my eyes were cherry red. It's just the morning after, I don't remember who was here. I'll eat a slice of that cold pizza and wash it down with warm beer. I got that not so fresh feeling from my head down to my toes. I think I had a good time, heaven only knows. It's just the morning after. Lord, it's funky up in here. Help me now, yeah. I'll eat a slice of cold pizza and wash it down with warm beer. Yeah, you got it now, hey.
Yeah, you got it now. Hey, welcome to the Morning After with JP and Big Joe. I'm JP, right over there as always. Hey, there he is, Big Joe. How you doing, Big Joe?
Good morning. I'm good.
There
How are
he
you?
is. Oh, so good, so good. Very excited about today. Welcome, everyone, to the show. It is Monday. It's 11 o'clock. You know what time it is. It's time for the Morning After Live. Thank you for joining the broadcast live. Really appreciate that. A lot of folks watch live. A lot of folks watch the repeats on YouTube. So be sure to do that. We got all of our back episodes. Check them out. A lot of people don't have time to watch in the middle of their workday. Totally understand. That's fair. Very fair. We're all trying to get by. So, Joe, we got Nick Gomez on the show today. Excited about that. Bandmate of ours for over a decade.
Dang, what a nice guy.
What a nice guy. I can't wait to be able to say that after, but I can say that before as well. You know, a lot of times
Say
we
it
interview
anytime you
people.
want.
Yeah, I could say it anytime I want. That's true. With this guy, not all guys, because you know sometimes we interview people I don't fucking know these guys, and I'll interview them, and then afterwards I go, wow, they almost always turn out to be nice. I say, wow, what a nice guy, and then you and I sort of reflect on it. But I don't think we have to do that today because we have a certified nice guy on the broadcast today. I almost said podcast. It's not a podcast. It's a broadcast. Nicholas Gomez from Zombie Holocaust, our guy, is joining us in just a few minutes here. Joe, you got your Cliff Burton shirt on. Just one of your Cliff Burton shirts. You have many, but very. You have three? Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. I don't have one. I need to get one. Anyway, it's very
Gotta
apropos.
wait for next year's Cliff Burton Day.
I guess yeah, that's true. I don't think they made shirts in 2021. That was this year, wasn't it? Yes, it was this year.
Yeah, this is 2021's Cliff Burton shirt.
Are you fucking shitting me?
No.
I blew it. That was my fault.
It's funky up in here, man.
It's funky up in here. Well, it looks great on you. Very apropos for today, as Nick Gomez is one of the driving forces, one of the let's just say he puts his pedal to the metal when it comes to the Cliff Burton Day that happens every February upon Cliff's birthday in our hometown, my hometown of Castro Valley. So that was cool. So anyway, excited to have Nick on the broadcast today. It's been quite a week leading up. Joe, what's going on with you, man? Anything special since you didn't go to Aftershock? I feel bad for you, man. You wanted to go, but you didn't. You have better stuff going on.
You know, I got to do a lot of fun things. Got to hang out with my family.
You got to.
That's always fun. Mm-hmm.
We were talking about this off the air, how you look at things like, oh, I don't have to do things. I get to do things.
I try to remind myself because I forget that, you know, but there is times where I definitely remember that while I'm doing it, you know, like, man, I got to go do this. And I don't know, I used to walk through life forcing myself to do things and interactions with people. Now I get to interact with life, and I don't know, it's a more of an adventure, and I don't know, it just makes me happier.
You guys listening out there? Listen up, guys. You guys are alive. You get to do things. That's amazing. You get to watch The Morning After with JP and Big Joe. I'm sorry about that. So hey, it's Edsy, my main man from the great white north. Good afternoon, homesies. I called Edsy a homesy. Whoops. Hey, Edsy, what's up, man? Hey, folks, the chat's wide open, guys. Just so you know, feel free to talk some mess to us during the broadcast. We're open to it. As always, why don't we do this at the start of the broadcast for once? Be sure to follow us at The Morning After TV on Instagram. You can follow Big Joe at Big Joe 616. You can follow me at JP_SRB. And send us an email. Are you angry? Does this suck? It's okay. Send us an email. morningaftertv@gmail.com. I don't know what's going to pop up in that email account. Weird things happen in there, but go ahead. Send away, folks. All right. So, it's going to be a big episode today. Why don't we just bring the man in? What do you say, Joe?
It's probably cold out there. Let them get a little bit warmed up inside here in the studio. And, yeah, I'm down with that.
Oh, boy. Let's do it. What's up, homesies? Look, people are just showing up. Wellness of Madness is here. Shazbot, love this. I just sent an email. Ooh. All right.
Uh-oh.
I'll have Dominique look at it.
Oh, Dominique's on the job today?
Let's have Dominique look at it. Now, I know I say that I look at every email. I do. But Dominique looks at them first. Just in case. You never know what's going to pop up in there. Okay, so, hey, what do you say, guys? Let's bring in the man himself. We're going to do it a little early this episode because I think we got a big show ahead of us. He is the man behind Zombie Holocaust. Started it with one Dan Souza back in 1897. I think it's 2006 or something, but we'll hear it from Nick himself. The man behind Zombie Holocaust and so many other things. He's a husband. He's a dad. He's a director. He is a gentleman in the film industry. We'll be talking about that too. I got so much to ask the man, Nicholas Gomez. Let's bring him in, folks. Welcome, Nicholas Gomez. How you doing, main man?
My guys, my dudes.
The
Hello.
Rad Dad himself. Welcome, my friend. Also, well, since you've got a shirt on that says Rad Dad, you can follow Nicholas Gomez at the Rad Dad on Instagram. Check him out. I think it's the_rad_dad. Is there an underscore before the?
No, but it's 2 underscores because there's already a Rad Dad.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, so I get the underscore.
Let's take that off. Okay.
That's close enough. They'll find it.
Yeah, folks, find Nick on Instagram. He's there. Nick, how you doing, man?
Chill. Excited to be here. Just want to say I'm a big fan of The Morning After, and I'm stoked. This is the 40th episode. Is that correct?
That's right. You nailed it.
Gentlemen, that is amazing. I've never done anything 40 times.
Thank you so much. Well, surely you've done something 40 times. You've rocked 40 stages. You've right?
Yeah, you guys.
At least 40. Yeah. Well, that's
Most
cool.
of
Hey,
you guys.
yeah, probably. So anyway, welcome to the show, guys. Well, everyone that's watching and Nicholas Gomez himself. What's going on? Where you at? You at home right now?
I'm at home, chilling, hanging out, enjoying this. Today's Monday, so
Today's
enjoying
Monday.
The beach life.
So you currently you work in the film industry, and work is comes on and off for a guy like you. You're a grip, correct? Why don't you tell me about what's going on with the film industry life right now?
The film industry life is pretty cool. I work in the San Francisco Bay Area, so I get to avoid a lot of the LA stuff going on, although we get some LA stuff up here. It's really expensive to shoot in San Francisco, so they film everything inside in LA and then film all the exterior stuff in San Francisco. So like once or twice a year, I get to work on a movie. It's pretty fun, but majority of what I do is very boring corporate interview lighting, much like what we're seeing here today in this room. This is what I do for work. I make CEOs look good as they talk about their profit sharing and such.
Well, why is it so expensive to film in San Francisco?
There's a unique thing about San Francisco as we're treated very well. We're paid very well. I want to say maybe they're newer contracts, but they're just negotiated differently. Like the whole strike thing that was going on that was avoided, that primarily was just for LA. Like our union sent in an email saying that doesn't affect us. Our contracts are different. Ours are super good. So just we're lucky that in the Bay Area, because the cost of living is so high, that we get paid better than most. I think New York is equal to us, and one other place. I want to say like Chicago or something, but I could be completely wrong.
You've worked on some pretty amazing films in your time. I believe you worked on Sorry to Bother You. What were some of your favorite? What would have been some of your favorite projects so far? I don't know if we can talk about that big one.
The first thing I ever worked on was actually the very first thing I ever worked on was like a made for TV movie for Lifetime called Forgotten Evil. And the cool thing about that movie was it was like right after film school, and a bunch of us worked on it. So like a bunch of us worked for like minimum wage and like out of passion essentially, or just like, oh, we're on a film set. But all those people I worked with are now, all union and all big movies and that kind of stuff. So we all started at the same point, and then now we all are at a similar point in our careers. But one of my favorite movies was a movie called Blind Spotting. It was filmed in Oakland. It was super like indie. The director was like a young Mexican dude like myself. And I saw him at Crafty. I was like, should we like hang out together since we're the two brown dudes on set? But no, yeah, I've worked on a few things and I've had fun each time. And yeah.
So modest. So modest.
Man, work's boring. I want to talk about you guys. Joe, I love your shirt. Which one is that? Can I see it? I don't have that one yet. I got to get one of those.
What? Yeah. How could that be?
Casey, if you're watching, what's up with that shirt?
Yeah, that's a nice segue. Well, I want to go back and dig into the history of Nicholas Gomez, but since we're on the subject, you're very involved with Cliff Burton Day, which is an event that happens in Castro Valley, but celebrated globally. You've been a part of that, I think, for the last 4 or 5 years now. What's your involvement with Cliff Burton Day, and what can we expect in the future with these great events?
That's a good question. Let's start from the beginning. So Cliff Burton Day event is a little different from Cliff Burton Day, because Cliff Burton Day started with my friend Robert Souza from Castro Valley. He does like the CV News. Very, very awesome, active dude. He went to Alameda County Board of Supervisors and petitioned Cliff Burton Day to be a holiday. Actually, I think he started with Castro Valley first, and then they're like, dude, we dig this. Go to Alameda. So Alameda approved Cliff Burton's birthday, February 10th, as Cliff Burton Day. And
you mean the county of Alameda, right? Like the whole
the whole county. So Oakland, like I don't know if it's on like calendars and stuff, but that's Cliff Burton Day in all of the East Bay.
Yes,
Alameda County, of course. So anyways, I sent him a message. I was like, dude, congratulations. That's so super dope. And he was like, let's throw an event for it. I was like, dude, I love throwing events. Let's do it. And then we did the first one at the Castro Valley School of Music, and it was super rad. There was so many people there, like legit ass, like Cliff Burton homies. And then every year it's progressively gotten bigger and bigger. And then with 2020, we did it online. Or was it 2021 we did it online, because 2020 was held in person because it was in February. We did it online, and I did my one and only Twitch stream, and it was super cool. And people from all over the world were watching, and it was pretty nerve-wracking, like trying to host. And then also, JP knows, try to do all this stuff over here and make sure all this shit's working. And people were like, we can't hear your mic. And I was like, oh, crap, it's all falling apart. But it turned out pretty well, and I know the next one's in the planning stages.
I noticed that your mic was a little low on Cliff Burton Day, but I figured I could comment and say his mic is low, but I'm not going to add to the stress that I'm sure he's already feeling.
The questions, and they were just like flying by, and one dude was like, brother Nicholas, you got to ask some questions, man. And I was like, I just drank a bunch of CBD tea, and I didn't realize there was a bunch of THC in it, and I'm super stoned right now, and I can't talk. It was pretty cool. It was frightening, but nonetheless, it was a very beautiful, fun experience. I got to talk to a lot of people, and I felt like I was sitting around a campfire with Cliff Burton's closest friends. And essentially that's what it was just digitally.
Joe, what were some of your best Cliff Burton Day memories? Because you've attended a few. I think ZH has performed at a couple of them. What were some of your favorite memories of Cliff Burton Day?
The only one I missed was not last year's, but the year before that. I was going through moving some stuff, so couldn't make it to that. But my favorite was the first one. It was at what was it, the school over there.
Cache Valley
This
School of
building
Music.
was in a shopping center. I got there, it takes me about 45 to an hour to get to Castro Valley. So I got there early, never want to show up late or, or it just takes one accident or, so I get there early. I'm just kind of hanging out and it's in this little shopping center. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be cool. And the next thing you know, it was empty. And then people just started piling in. And it was actually like there was like too many. It looked like we were actually at a concert. Like these people were just showing up, and I don't think any of us expected how many people actually would have shown up. I remember not even being able to get inside at points, just standing like 10, 15 people back past the door. Luckily, I could see over everybody, but that's just going like, damn, this is something that's being taken very seriously. And people came out of the woodworks from that. Like I said, I was early and I was talking to people who knew Cliff that I've never even seen before on any type of Cliff documentary or any type of Cliff story, going like, damn, these are like old friends. And,
Yeah.
it was something pretty special and intimate, and I still think the last one on Zoom was the best one, just probably because maybe there wasn't as many people there and everyone got to be relaxed and have a good time. But
Yeah.
just to be a part of it, to play it a couple times, that makes me feel honored that I actually got to be a part of something, and especially Cliff Burton. I have a Rickenbacker bass, and Cliff Burton is one of my favorite bass players, and he's awesome. He's from the Bay Area, man. How can you not love that guy?
Yeah. And you mentioned Cliff's friends, a lot of people that knew Cliff. Nick, what was it like, or what is it like, being from Castro Valley, looking up to someone like Cliff Burton, who's from our hometown, making this day, and then sort of connect? What's it like to connect with the people around him, like his family and his former bandmates and stuff like that? How does that make you feel? Because I know you've been a big Cliff Burton fan your whole life. You've had that. You were born with that Misfits tattoo, right? I believe it came out. It was already there.
It's crazy that him and I have the same birthmark. It's really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, but what was that like? Because you're from Castro Valley, he's from Castro Valley, and you've really taken the reins on this preserving his not just you, but Robert Souza, of course, as well. You've really taken the reins of honoring his legacy. What's it like talking to his family, his old bandmates, his friends?
So, starting out in Castro Valley, little kid, 15, 13, whatever, 12. I think my first Metallica Master of Puppets was in 7th grade. So it's like finding out, oh, whoa, that dude is from Castro Valley? And then you walk around Castro Valley, and even like, Mike the Bum would be like, yo, dude, you want to hear Cliff Burton's story? We're like, hell yeah, dude. So it's like you're automatically in his territory. I mean, he's essentially an ancestor. He comes from the land that you come from before you. So you get to walk his streets, go to his school. I mean, we all went to the same high school as him, like went to the same junior high. You went to Creekside, right, JP?
I did.
Yeah, so Earl Warren for him. You just kind of feel this presence. You're like, dude, this is mine. This is us. We're Cliff Burton's like descendants, essentially. So it's like to be able to sit in a chair and talk to people who knew him personally, and for them to give me the time of day and to understand the connection and the passion that I have for this dude, and for them to like talk to me about him is very, very like surreal. Like I still can't believe that. No, I mean I can, because I like as a child I was like, oh, I will carry this torch for Cliff Burton. But now as an adult man, I'm like, I am doing this, and it feels it's surreal. It's very much surreal. Even the planning that took place recently, I was just like, dude, this is crazy and like a real huge honor. And I promise that if I have the honor to tell this dude's story, I'm going to tell it, 1, correctly, and 2, I'm going to tell it beautifully. So I'm very happy to be that dude.
That was going to be my next question, actually. Do you feel pressure to keep the legacy alive? Because if not you, then who? I know Robert Souza, again, to give him all the shout outs. He's a good dude that really got this into gear. Do you feel pressure to keep his legacy alive? Like if not you, then who?
I do. And to be fair, there is a group of people behind the scenes with Cliff Burton Day. There's more than just me putting in this work. But that is true because it's easy to forget someone who passed away in 1986. And I mean, the band that he left behind is the biggest band in the world. And I do feel pressure because you have to tell it correctly. And when it does come to Cliff, it's kind of weird. You go into this scene that he left behind, and people are very protective of it. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. And I understand that, dude. Cliff is a very special, amazing dude. Mm-hmm. So I step lightly. I speak, I speak and I ask for permission if I'm going to tell a story. I mean, it's something it's close to my heart, but it's not my story to be told, because the only stories that are left now are the people who cherish those memories. So when I do speak to certain people, I am very, very respectful. It's like, if you don't want me to talk about this, I won't talk about it. And of course, talking about losing someone is very tragic. So, on Cliff Burton Day, we talked about the tragedy very little. We mostly just talked about the good stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, it handled with care, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, it's Cliff Burton Day is a really awesome thing. Thank you and the rest of the team for keeping it alive. I feel lucky that I've been able to come up and attend just one, sadly.
That was a good one though, dude. We played like a killer set, dude. The lights were sick. Like, we played 2 Metallica songs.
Yeah, the lights were sick. Who set up the lights, Nick?
I think it was Joe. Joe, that was you, right?
That was me.
It.
And
that was Joe.
The most impressive part about me doing that was I operated them while we played.
What?
Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah. So if you Nick set up some awesome lights for our set, and then literally worked the lights as he was doing lead vocals for our band.
It was awesome.
he was doing it from his phone, so he'd do some vocals, and then even mid vocals, you'd see him back by his amp, like flicking some stuff on his phone, and then back to doing the show, and then back to doing the lights. Like, it was actually quite an amazing spectacle.
It was pro.
It was tight. Mikey has it on his channel. So Mikey's on Twitch. Mikey's on YouTube. I don't know his Twitch name, but maybe we can link him a little bit later on. But
I believe he's yeah, you mean I believe that's Cinematic Mike, right? I believe it's at Cinematic Mike on Instagram. Check that out. I'll have Dominique look that up. But the dude's awesome. He's always filming stuff.
And do you guys remember at the end of that show, we were just like, all right, everybody, merch is free, whatever you want. And fools are like grabbing t-shirts, CDs. My cousin got the hoodie. Like, it was sick, dude.
No, I don't remember that.
We're just like, why are we carrying this giant tote around? Like, get rid of it. So we just like gave it all for free that day, dude.
Yeah, I think we were in a not so active period of the band, and the merch was just kind of sitting around. It's like, just give this shit out.
Exactly. It was tight. I saw my cousin. I was like, dude, where'd you get that 6DH hoodie? He was like, dude, I got it from you. I'm like, sick. Okay. Cool. I got it.
That's great, man. Well, like I said, thank you so much for keeping it alive. Every February, you can check out Cliff Burton Day. And any news about next year's Cliff Burton Day? It's still a little ways away.
I can say that I had a really, really amazing conversation after Aftershock that just really made me feel good. And my partner was just like, hey, send me the list of people you want to talk to. And I'm like, anybody? Whoa. So I sent a cool list. I mean, I sent a big list. So I mean, even if 5 people from those lists get on Cliff Burton Day 5 now, that it's gonna be tight. Like, it'll be cool. It'll probably be. We're thinking. Okay, so this format worked really well because we had 5,000 people watching from all over the world, and people really dug it. But also, in person works really well too because you get the whole community and everything. So we're trying to figure out how to make the best of everything work. And now one idea that my partner brought was what if we pre-recorded a couple of these, because then you can come out, bring your lights, do it all professionally. You don't have to be all freaking out trying to do all switching. So we might get a couple pre-records in there so if people don't feel rushed, people are a little more comfortable, because it's once that, it was cool because I called everybody ahead of time and I had the most beautiful Cliff Burton conversations. I was like, dude, John Marshall, you're looking the roadie, dude. Why are you so tall? And it was chill. But once we turned the cameras on, we're always like, so if we do some pre-records, it might be cool. But you know who Mike Borden, that dude is super comfortable on camera. That dude's super chill, pulling out stories.
Yeah.
If anything, I want him to always be like there. I want him to like be, hey, it's like Nick and Mike doing this thing.
Yeah, he was great. He was MVP of the guests, no doubt.
Oh, dude, every year too. Every year he's like, I'm not going to speak, and then he goes up there and tells these amazing stories. And everybody's like, he's the best. And he's like a super rad, chill dude. I was like, I remember when I was a kid, you were always the guy with the dreadlocks in Ozzy and in Korn.
Oh, was he in Korn?
He was in Korn for a little bit, yeah.
I thought you were making a joke. I was like, the guy in dreadlocks in Korn. Which one?
Wow. No, yeah, I know, right? Exactly. No, yeah, he played in Korn for a little bit. He covered David for a while, probably just like a couple shows, and then he was in Ozzy for forever, for like I feel like 10 years with Robert Trujillo, and then Robert Trujillo's like his best friend.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, dude, Robert stays in my house. I was like, in Castro Valley.
All right. Well, hey, to you super sleuths out there, Nick gave you some clues. He was at Aftershock, had a good conversation. Okay. Who was at Aftershock? All right, cool. Super sleuths, get to work. Try to figure out what's going on next year. But let's back it up. I go, perfect. We got a question from Shazbot. First of all, how did y'all meet? Well, let's back up. Let's go back in time.
Well, I met Joe because I swiped right.
How did that work out, Joe? When you saw that he had swiped on you?
It was an instant like. I had to just go, you know what? I'm DTF.
So
down
to fun. I like how ZH sort of changed it to down to fun. It was it's very on brand with our wholesome sensibilities. Yeah, Joe. Do you guys remember Boo.By?
Yeah,
never heard of it.
So, that's so funny. I know you have, you liar. Boo.By was like, because I don't think Tinder was around back then, but it was the same idea. It was the same idea, except it's just pictures of boobs. And so I'm assuming back then, Nick saw Big Joe on Boo.By.
That's what it
because
was.
I don't think Tinder was around back then. It must have been Boo.By. And Joe, you were about 50 pounds bigger back then. You had some big ones, didn't you?
I most likely did.
All right. For serious. How
did JP and I meet? That's a good one.
Well, hold on here. Big Joe and Nicholas meet on the metal version of Grindr, Corpse Grinder. Oh, that's good.
It was Corpse Grinder, Joe. I remember your profile page was sick.
Let's back it up. Nick, you're a Castro Valley kid. Did it start in Castro Valley? What was it like? No, not what was it like. Tell me about growing up in Castro Valley.
It's a one-horse town, but it has a BART station, so you can go anywhere you want in the Bay Area. It's very easy to get to Berkeley in 45 minutes, San Francisco in less than that. You go to San Jose at that time, but that wasn't as easy. Now San Jose's connected. Castro Valley is super dope. It's a very chill town, and much like a town I admire called Benicia, there's always a group of metalheads of different generations that walk around, and I myself was one of them. And I'm a little bit younger than you and Jordan and Vicky and Lex. But when I was a little kid, I used to see you guys walking around, boots, black Cannibal Corpse shirt and stuff like that. I'd have like a Weird Al Yankovic shirt on, or even like a Korn shirt. And eventually...
What year are we talking about here when you'd see that? Like 99 or 98 or?
No, 97, 98. I was definitely I was in junior high at Earl Warren. I don't know. I don't think we went at the same time. Mm-hmm. Earl Warren. I left in 2000 and then Castro High after that. But seeing everybody around, I want to say 2001, I started seeing all the metal and goth kids that walked around Castro Valley. But I do remember Jordan. I remember seeing Jordan. Jordan and I went to the same high school for a little bit. I went to B schedule, I think, and I would see him every now and then. And then eventually I switched to A schedule, which is it's kind of standard start time. And I
morning to the afternoon.
That's where I met you. So I probably met you in 2001, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Maybe
Nick,
2002.
You were, as you mentioned, I was sort of with the boots wearing kind of badassery guy. Although I just kind of dressed like a skateboarder, if anything.
You had your dissection shirt.
That's true. I love that dissection shirt. my XL dissection shirt that I was like 100 pounds inside of. Like it was like wearing a blanket. But anyway, yeah, but we didn't hang out. We were metal guys, but we didn't hang out.
We ran with different crews. I had my homies, my super good friend, which is still my super good friend today, Josh Bonham. I kind of hung out with him and his crew. And then every now and then our crews would meet up. I remember seeing you guys and talking to you guys at an Exhumed show at the Pound. Had to be 2001, maybe 2002.
Wow.
Like, so we didn't really hang out, but we were two different crews. And then eventually we started hanging out. But that was afterwards. I started seeing Jordan around town when he had that big ass Suburban. And I remember he would like pick me up and stuff when I would just be like skateboarding around town and stuff. Like we were different flocks.
Yeah, different flocks. Yeah, definitely. Now I'm not proud of this, and I think we've talked about this, but this is embarrassing for me. But yeah, I'm still gonna tell it because I feel it's like therapeutic, and I think people need to know that even me, I can be a real jackass. So Nick was okay. So I was in the crew of death metalers. Jordan and all those guys. We were big. Did you have what? Do you have something?
No, now I remember. So you guys were death metalers and we were black metalers.
Right. And even all you were black metal Nick to us. There was black metal Brian. There was black metal Josh. Just if you're in that crew, you were black metal blank. It didn't matter. And all nice guys. But it didn't matter. We were so up our own asses. Like we were like we're the black metal sucks. And so I had a video camera and I would like bring it around all the time. And I think I caught you walking home one day and I was like, oh, there's black metal Nick. So I like busted out my video camera and I was like filming and I remember screaming at you from across the street, like black metal sucks. And you did the most Nick Gomez thing ever. You just turned around and like smiled and like waved and then you just kept walking. I was like, well, that was embarrassing. He didn't sell it either. So it's double embarrassing. And now 20 years later, I'm mortified by it. Because you ended up being one of my closest friends. Do you remember that?
That's super awesome. And two, I think I was with Monica walking down the street at that time, which
Possibly.
2002. Monica, my super awesome wife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I would love to see that tape because I want to see me and young Monica walking down the street like in Castro Valley. That's so legendary.
It's gone. It's gone. I don't know what happened to that footage. Unfortunately, I probably taped over it. But do you remember that? Like, because I'm highly embarrassed by it, and I still think about it.
I'm thinking, my memory serves that it was at Walgreens in Castro Valley. I was in front of Walgreens.
And I was right across the street from the school.
I was by the school. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to yell stuff at me.
That's true. Yeah. Of course, I didn't really know you. I just saw you as a guy that dressed in black metal clothes, and I was like, lame.
And then, I don't blame you, dude. You have boots and a Mayhem shirt. Mayhem sucks, dude. Just kidding. Mayhem's fantastic, although I don't listen to black metal anymore.
Oh, man. That's funny, man. But then you and I had a horticulture class together. We were in the same horticulture. Do you remember being in horticulture?
I do, with, what was the math teacher's name?
Mr. Hoffman.
Mr. Hoffman, yeah. That dude was super rad.
Absolutely. And I remember, I think we started talking about King Diamond one day.
Oh, okay.
And you told me, you're like, man, I like Voodoo, the album Voodoo. I was like, I fucking love Voodoo. Nobody talks about Voodoo. And like,
that was like my first introductory to him.
Yeah. And we talked about Voodoo, and I was like, man, Nick's cool. What the hell am I doing? Like, why am I shutting people out of my life before I meet them?
I'll ditch the boots and we can hang out.
No. That's fucked up.
To be fair, black metal boots were up to your knee and death metal were calf high. So we had the same brand boots, but mine were like 4 inches bigger, so I could hang out with you guys.
Can you believe that? Like 4 inches of leather is what stopped us from hanging out? Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm embarrassed by that because, like I said, you ended up being one of my closest friends and welcoming me into your band, Zombie Holocaust. So you went to a continuation high school, which ended up being a legitimate high school, and now it's gone back to a continuation high school. But yeah, that's how you and I met. How did you meet One Big Joe? Because all of a sudden, because you and I lost connection for a couple years after high school, and then the next time I saw you, you were doing shows in a thrash metal band, and I started seeing Big Joe in this band Fog of War. How did you guys link up?
Okay, good question. Joe, I'm looking at you. This is me looking at you. To finish JP's story real fast, we lost connection, but then I almost hit you with our car when you're coming off of the overpass skateboarding. And then we saw you guys at
What?
And
Wait, what? Hold on, wait. You almost hit me with your
That
car?
was you?
580 overpass. You were blaring down that thing hella fast. And I think
Yeah.
Monica was driving, I was in the passenger, and you went off into the street, like probably without looking, because you just bolted in there, and we went whoosh. We like swerved out of the way. And I was like, fuck, we almost killed JP. I didn't call you JP back then. I was like, oh, we almost killed John Poncelet. And then you got to Instagram or Facebook or MySpace at the time. You're like, the singer of Zombie Holocaust almost killed me. That was tight.
No.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh
You
my
did die,
God.
and then later on, we saw you and Jordan at Tidal Wave. And after Tidal Wave 2009, that's when we started becoming friends. Not too long after you joined the band. Now, Joe's story is very cool, how I first met Joe. So let me see if I could fill the car. It was Sean Kenmore, Dan Souza, Yeti Palazzolo, me, and Nick Hushman. And we're all in the back of Sean's Blazer. And we're like, oh, let's go check out this band, Devastator, at, I want to say like Bourbon Street Bar and Grill in 2006, very early on. And so we go to check it out, and it's a bar show in Concord, so there's not many people there. And we peek in, and like we're like, oh hey, we're here for Devastator. They're here tonight. And then I believe it was Mosh and maybe Joe. I don't know. Somebody came up from the Fog of War camp, was like, oh guys, they're not playing anymore. But we're thrash. You guys should stick around. And we're like, nah, we're gonna cut. And then they're like, wait. So I think you guys went up to the promoter and was just like, hey, we'll forfeit any pay that we get if you can just get this group of thrashers in. And we're like, you guys are cool. You guys are cool. So we go and watch them. We go front row center.
Wow.
They play, and we're just like, this is the greatest band in the world. And they blow our minds, dude. Like the first time you see Fog of War, I still remember just like, what the fuck? How is this band not the most famous band in the world? Super, super amazing. The other thing I remember thinking, because it was a really high stage, so we're like here, and I was like, all these dudes got real big calves. And then afterwards, we go backstage, and we just go outside, and then we're just like, dudes, you guys are amazing. I don't even know if ZH was started at that time. I don't think we were. But I remember like Yeti like spent all his money on your guys' merch. And yeah, just after that, super homies. And I want to say when ZH got started, I'm pretty sure you guys started taking us under your wing, because I know we played mini shows with you guys like Chris's Club and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you guys, Fog of War, still is the band that we look up to. That's our big sister band right there.
Yeah, you guys were married. Joe, you guys married ZH really early on, huh? It's like I didn't see any... It's like you guys were brother and sister bands, as Nick just put it. Joe, it was like that, wasn't it?
It definitely was, because even if you remember, Mosh Branham was in Zombie, playing. They had another Venetian in Zombie Holocaust of one, Jeremy Power. And for a short time, Jeremy and I lived next to each other, next door. We shared a wall. And but before all that, Jeremy, and I think Jeremy at the time, not 100% sure, but Nick Gomez filled in my shoes as bass player of Fog of War. When I stepped down, Chance, my oldest son, 15 years ago, was born. And I stepped down, and Nick filled in. So that Tidal Wave, one of the years, Zombie and Fog played, and Nick was on stage with Fog of War and Zombie.
Now, was that 2009, Nick, the one that Exodus headlined?
Yes.
Wow, so Fog played that one too. I know Mosh was on guitar for you guys. I have some...
Oh yeah, both me and Josh played in both Fog and ZH at that time.
Did Villager play that one too?
Yeah, Dan played both days too with Pillager and Zombie.
Wow. I've got yeah, look at this footage from Tidal Wave 2009. I don't know who filmed this, but that's ZH down there.
Damn, I haven't seen that shit in forever.
Yeah, look at that. Tidal Wave was such a cool event that just kind of disappeared. Look how small
Shout
you
out
guys
to
are.
Chris and Tonus.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, Tonus, that's right. So yeah, that was early ZH with Mosh on vocals. Let's stop the share there. Stop the share there.
It says 2008, so I guess it's 2008.
That's what it says, but I don't believe everything I read, Nick. No,
Good practice.
but I found it on YouTube. I'm not sure who uploaded that. Thank you to whoever uploaded that. But wow, yeah, man. So you guys are brother and sister band. Wait, so hold on. When did ZH actually start? Because Joe and I were just confused about this. It was 2006, right?
Yeah, it was on September 8th, 2006.
Wow.
I used to throw these house parties for my birthday and Monica's birthday, and they were always out of hand and excessive rocking and rolling. And I remember one day, that day in particular, we went into my room, turned up my full stack, and started rocking. And it was like probably 1 a.m, and we had a little circle pit going in the room, and me and Dan were like, dude, you want to start a band? He's like, dude, hell yeah. And then super hungover the next day, went to his house, and we literally started the band the next day, like did our due diligence and showed up. And I was like, dude, I'm hungover. He's like, I'm hungover too. I was like, but I got these songs. And the songs were Millions of Dead Zombies was the first one, and another song that we never recorded called Born to Thrash. But I should back it up a little bit, because technically the very first ZH Jam ever happened. I'm sure some people know the story, but Dan and I are neighbors when we both lived in Castro Valley. There was a house. It was my backyard, my neighbor, Miss Terry, a creek, and then Dan. But I can see his house from my window. So I heard him jamming. So I stick my amp out the window, turn it up. It's a little 10-watt practice crate amp. Turn it up and start jamming. I could hear him like trying to do stuff with it. I'm like, dude, is this sick? Who is this fool? And then like maybe a little bit afterwards when he stops, I like peek out the window. I can see the overpass, and I see someone like running up there, like looking for whoever was playing that guitar. And then eventually, I don't remember how we were like, oh, that was you. I think once I started going to his house and jamming, I was like, was that you playing drums like right there? I was like, oh, sick. Okay, cool. So we jammed like a long time ago. And then even before that, since we were neighbors, I met Dan in like 97 or 98 when he was a little ass kid, dude, little baby Dan. There was a dude named Eric that lived on a street that I would go hang out with. And Dan came up to me. He's like, oh, are those soap shoes? The shoes that like, yeah. He's like, how do you ride a bike with those? I was like, it's very difficult. And that was about it. And then my friend Eric, my friend Eric knew him. My friend Pat knew him. So I met him a long, long time ago.
I love that story. Dan told that story when he came on the show. It's got to be one of the most unique band starting stories ever. Like, you guys were sending signals to each other from different houses, sound signals to each other from different houses, and then eventually you guys actually started a fucking band. It's so unique. I've never heard that before.
Agreed.
Yeah. So that was 2006 when you guys started. You guys were hungover. So
too much
that's not.
It'll do that to you.
Yeah. It's so weird to hear you say that, because I've never seen you take but a sip of alcohol, because I joined the band and you had already jumped off the sauce. What how did that work out? Just jumping ahead a little bit here.
Yeah, sure.
What, because I mean, thrash, let's talk about it. Thrash metal in general, alcohol, partying is very heavily romanticized. It is cool. If you can slam hella beer, you're hella cool. I don't know why, but those are the rules, I guess. What was it like? Because Joe and I now are sober as well, but you've been off the alcohol for over a decade, back to the 2000s. What was it like navigating in a band through Bay Area thrash and being the sober guy? Were there many of you? I don't think there were.
Good question. First, I'd like to acknowledge that it's very cool that there's 3 of us right here who do not drink alcohol anymore, and we all had struggles and adversities to achieve that. And now we can proudly say that we don't drink alcohol. And anybody who's watching this right now who's thinking of quitting alcohol, my advice, and I'm sure these dudes' advice, is do it. Quit. Life gets way better without it. The clarity that you receive, everything is better without it. And the longer you go without it, the easier it is to forget what it's like. So when you reach the state that I'm in, and many others, you don't remember what being drunk's like, so the appeal's gone. So Quit
Amen.
drinking. That shit sucks. So what you said about being, so I decided I had to quit drinking because I lost someone very close to me because of alcohol. And I realized that I was going to go down the same path if I continued to drink.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I was not a fun drunk. Pretty sloppy person, pretty rude person, pretty much all the characteristics that I have now. Let's just flip them. And I'm not a fun guy when I'm drinking. And unfortunately, I played in the thrash metal scene where drinking is glorified. Just like you said, the more you drink, the cooler you are. So let me drink as much as I can and be super rad. But it's not good. So I remember playing the first show. I used to always play drunk, pretty drunk actually. The first shows I started playing sober, I was like, oh shit, because I played guitar at that time. I can actually play this really well, and I'm not messing up, and it's not shitty, it's not sloppy. So your skills improve. And then going forward in the thrash scene, I mean, the funny thing and cool thing about our thrash scene is it was a coming of age scene. So we all started very young, and by the end of it, we're all adults. So I was able to grow up in that scene and maybe help some people slow down the drinking, or maybe encourage people to stop drinking. But we eventually, I mean, this is the thrash scene going up. Hell yeah, Nick. Thank you, Laura. Thank you very much. We eventually left the thrash scene. We went into whatever we call ourselves, which I don't know what we call ourselves, but we're open to different genres. So no longer were we a part of the scene where it was like do a beer bong and do a cake stand. It was more like, hey, let's have some fun and rock and roll.
Was that a necessary change because you had stopped drinking, or did you sort of feel you guys going in that direction anyway?
In ZH, we always had one rule: is you can bring whatever you want to the table, and we'll incorporate it into a song. We have no like, oh, that doesn't fit. So it was already going into that. A lot of the songs on Strike Force were written before we were 20 years old. Not a lot, a few, and then before we were 21 years old, essentially. So that's just teenage angst. That's just what you write. You listen to Slayer and Metallica your whole life. You're going to play that kind of stuff. Now, as you get older, all the stuff coming in, different stuff's going to come out. So that's why we started playing different stuff. And our thrash crowd was true. A lot of people came with us, but then a lot of the denim jacket, white Nikes were like, ugh, this shit sucks. So, we had to leave, and we gained and maintained our actual fan base and got new fans along the way. And the ones who are posing as something from 1986 that went away a long time ago, those posers didn't fall with us. And
those are the guys that'll call you a poser too. That's the funny thing. Those are the guys that call people posers.
They're the time machine posers. Because, hey, remember, our hero, who we've been talking about this whole time, did not wear thrash clothing.
Yes. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. You guys are the posers. Don't call me a poser just because I'm wearing khaki pants.
Khaki pants are all comfy. Your first show was DH. You were wearing khaki pants.
You remember that?
Craneway Pavilion, 50,000 square feet of pure metal with 5 people there.
I like the way you framed that. My first show with ZH was at the Craneway Pavilion, 50,000 square feet. That's where I'll stop. I won't mention that there were like 15 people in the audience and all that stuff. But anyway, the sober thing is really inspiring, and ZH had to change a little bit. I don't think, as you said, it was exactly because of the alcohol. It was just going to change anyway. But what was it like? Because you were, as I said, you were already sober when I joined the band. Your own bandmates are getting fucked up. I'm drinking and sad, and Joe's drinking, and fucking Dan's drinking, and Jordan's drinking, and you're not. Is that annoying?
There's been a few
be honest.
Well, not necessarily with you guys, because I just kind of feel like mother hen. I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's do it over here. And plus, I wake up in the morning, I don't have a hangover. So I don't know. With people I really love, it's not annoying. You guys were never really annoying drunks. I definitely was to Joe. I remember that.
What is this?
One time when I was playing bass for you, I was just like, Joe, I can never fit in your shoes because they're like a size 13.
I don't remember
But
that.
anyways, I was pestering Joe as a drunk dude one time, and I will always remember that.
Yes.
There was one time when I was like super annoyed because I was trying to film a music video and like the video, helped for people to be kind of drunk and loose, but like everybody was getting hella drunk and I was like, fuck, dude, I'm just trying to film this shit. Like I'm not. And it was funny because I've drinking with this dude so many times and got so partied with this dude, which was Pat Knife, super rad dude. Pat Knife, what's up, my man? And me and him were always the drunk dudes. But at this day, we were the sober dudes. And we're both like, what the fuck? This is hell of annoying, dude. We used to be those guys.
Wait, Pat was sober on this day?
Pat was sober on this day. I hope he's still sober, but I mean, I believe for a good while he was super sober. Every time I saw him, he was just like, "Yep, dude, I'm not drinking, not drinking." I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude."
Okay.
So we filmed. We worked on a video. Joe, you remember the video? It was Combustible Life. If you watch that video, Combustible Life with Big Joe, he was a little tanked. And I was like, Joe, you got whatever you're gonna wear. You need to wear it for the whole time. Well, that fool kept changing his hat, flipping back and forth, changing it back and forth, taking it off. So if you watch Joe, his hat's always changing. I'm like, Joe, leave your hat on.
Oh my God. So it's like the consistency was compromised.
100%. But the video turned out super rad.
Yeah, you directed the Violation Wound video, Combustible Life. What else?
That animation right there is from my friend Cole Alexander, so shout out to that dude. But what was your white hat? So what was your question?
I just saw his hat was backwards there. I saw it.
So it was white there. He has a green one later. It's full.
Oh, he's got. Oh my God, you're right. And now his hat's forward.
See, and I was white.
Oh my Lord. Wow, this is great. This video looks great too. Where was this filmed?
This was filmed at Hippie. Shout out to Hippie at his place in Benicia. I don't know if he's still there, but he had this dope ass studio set up in there, and I did it with 2 cameras and 1 light. And it was me and Pat Knife working on it. So Pat Knife literally helped us work on that video, which he worked on another video for ZH for Massive Attack that never got released. I'm
sad about that. I love Massive Attack. That was one of my favorites.
There was a video for it. We filmed in Vacaville. We filmed all day, and it just never got out. I wasn't the one that filmed it.
Damn. That's a shame.
Maybe it'll come. Maybe it'll come. Most good videographers save all their footage and never delete anything, to which is a good practice to have.
You need a bunch of hard drives for that.
You do. And you have to keep updating them and switching out the stuff.
Yeah,
hard drives.
True. So let's go back to mid-drunk Nicholas Gomez. What was it like starting ZH? You had Dan and you had you, but the original members, there were 2 Rickies involved. What was it like? I keep saying, what was it like? As if that's the only way you can tell me about something. Tell me how you guys got to know Ricky D and Ricky T, the original string section in the band. Well, of course, was the lead guitar and bass player, Ricky D and Ricky T. In my eyes, I think those were just some metal kids from Castor Valley that I'd see around, and then I went to a show, and I'm like, oh my God, they're all on stage together.
Yeah, so let's see.
Ricky, tell me about the early days.
Prior to ZH starting, Dan was in a band called Rip Kildren and Fragile X. And Dan and Ricky played both in Fragile X. So in that room I told you about at that midnight rock and roll sesh, Ricky T, bass player, was there as well too, and was just like, "Can I join too?" I was like, "Oh yeah, dude." So that's how he joined.
That's how it.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
The first practice, I think the first practice was just me and Dan in Dan's garage, in Rob's garage. Mm-hmm. And then Ricardo and I kept trying to get a band started. Like the name Zombie Holocaust was already, we had it, and we were kind of trying to dabble. We were doing a bunch of covers. We were doing like X's covers and like, I think we did like a Satyricon cover. We were just doing covers in my room. And we had another dude, Kyle, who played drums, but it really didn't get off the ground. We just kind of, I don't know, we didn't know how to be in a band, but Dan and Ricky knew how to be in a band. And so with Dan being in the band, he was like, yeah, this is how this shit works. This is how being in a band works. I'm going to be in 1,000 of them. And so eventually Ricardo came around and was like, hey, dude, what do you think about letting me into Zombie Holocaust too? I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go. Let's go. So that's how we had those dudes. I was like, but I'm playing guitar. He's like, cool, I'll play guitar too. But I let him use my amp because he was lead guitar and he didn't have an amp.
Oh,
so I used it for a while.
Yeah. You're very generous with your gear. I've used your amp and your guitar for like so much of my ZH tenure. I was using your stuff.
That's because life is better shared.
Yeah. Oh my God. I like the way you framed it. I just thought, I was like, man, I'm broke. I'm using Nick's shit. Yeah, so you guys had a demo that same year. Was it like 2007? The Massive Attack demo? When did that come out?
Yeah, I think we recorded it like a year later. Oh, actually, we did because our 1 year
Really fast.
That same demo we had, we took it to Tidal Wave the year before we played, and we're like, we have two. The dude burnt us, Jeff Leopard, shout out Jeff Leopard, burnt us 2 copies, one for me, one for Dan, and like we gave one to Pete and Tonus, Tidal Wave dudes, and they played it over the PA. And we're like, this is us, this is us, this is us. And then we gave the other one to Gary Holt. We're like, you should check out this band, dude. And he's probably like sick. And then so anyways, after that, with that demo, Pete and Tonus were like, hey, you guys want to play the next Tidal Wave? We're like, fuck yeah, dude. So we were able to open the first day with Exodus and Hyrax, which was such a sick day. And that was the very next year. So with that demo, we were able to get on Tidal Wave.
Wow, man. Yeah, like I said, I lost connection with you guys for a few years after high school, and then me and Jordan show up to this free thrash show called Tidal Wave, and there you guys are. And you got a little table with merch, and you made us take your demo that Jordan was going to pay for, and you're like, no, just take it.
Oh, he kept like putting money, like, you got to take this $5. $5, I don't want it.
But it was crazy because I just didn't know what you guys were up to. And I guess I wasn't really aware of how thrash metal was sort of like bubbling up, in the late 2000s. I was in like a death metal-y kind of band, and I just wasn't aware of this. And we went to this Tidal Wave show, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Everybody was wearing like denim, and there was there were a bunch of thrash kids. I had never seen that many thrash people all together before. So
that's true, because at our day at the Pound, when we were there with our black and death metal, there was no thrash kids at all. Like we would go to a thrash show like Toxic Holocaust or even Exodus, and it would be death and black metal dudes at the Pound and that kind of stuff. So thrash didn't start existing until the 20-year anniversary, which would have been like, let's say 2005, 2006, which is the 20 years of 85 and 86. Everything comes in waves again. Resurgence, I guess, for every 10 and 20 years. So that's why this started coming back around. And I will say this, that the Hatchets and the Fueled by Fires and all the bands that were in the LA and Basing and the Vindicators, we influenced Metallica to put on the denim vest and play the Big Four with all the thrash acts, because they saw that shit coming back around again. And that's when they put it back on, because on Aftershock on Thursday, they didn't play with Anthrax, Death Angel, Testament. They played other days. So the Big Four, I heavily believe that it was influenced by our generation of the thrash resurgence, as people call it.
It has to be, because you said it was a resurgence. No one was listening. Oh, I mean, people, there were no thrash kids in the 2000s, and then boom, Big Four, one of the biggest metal shows there ever has been, comes right on the heels of this re-thrash movement. It's not a coincidence, at least. And if, I don't know, somebody point me to some evidence that suggests otherwise, but I agree with you. What was it like in those early days? Because I keep saying, what was it like? I really got to stop. That's so annoying when I'm. Yeah, how was it like? What the hell am I doing? But ZH, you said Hatchet.
Let's see if we can name them all. There was Laceration. There was Virulent Death, Devastator. Don't forget Oxidation.
Can we count Scarecrow in there?
Scarecrow, yeah, because they came around. Yeah. Matt Harvey was the first one. We played Boba Fett for the first time ever. And then after we played, he came up to me. He's like, did you say in that song Boba Fett, he's fucking rad, he's fucking sick, he's Boba Fett? I was like, yeah. He said, that's fucking sick, dude. He's a huge Star Wars fan. I was like, thanks for noticing, my man.
Oh shit!
Who are we missing? I feel it's only because I'm on the spot that I can't think of all the names of all our badass friends. Of course, Fog of War, the mighty Fog of War. We said Devastator already. Who are we missing, Joe? Bonded by Blood, Fueled by Fire, Witch Haven. We got all our LA homies down there.
Yeah.
Did we name all of them? They'll come to us. It's only when
Merciless Death. They were big.
They were one of the first. Them and Armored Assassins were one of the first. I remember I was at an Exodus show, and somebody came up to me. I think his name was Garen, and he was like, "What do you think of all these thrash bands coming up from LA, like Armored Assault and Merciless Death?" I'm like, "That's crazy, dude," because I haven't seen any thrashers up here. Like I said, Toxic Holocaust played in like 2002, and there was no, like, I was the only dude in a denim vest that I remember seeing any thrashers there. Wow. So it came up from LA. LA was definitely the first ones to do it. Wow. And then at the same time, Fog of War started in way early. I want to say 2001, maybe. You guys were doing it super early too. Chud Crusher, and there was another band that you guys had.
The other band was Demolitia. I would say we started playing, both of us. It was after 2003. So around 2004, because 2003 is when I met Lumberjack, and in 2004 I met Josh Mosh Branham, and then probably the end of 2004 is when I met Matt O'Connell and like Jesse Missman and that crew, and then their crew became our crew.
Could you tell that you guys were in the middle of something special while it was happening? Because, you know, looking back, it was really fantastic. You know, it was such a big scene. You look at old footage of ZH at like Gilman, you know, and it's just fucking crazy in there. You know what I mean? Like the crowd was insane for you guys for a lot of these Gilman shows, just completely like packed to the gills. Did you guys know like you guys were in the middle of something so special?
You know, when the band started when Dan and I started this band, we set like tiers of goals, and the first goal that we had was to be a band that had stickers. So like when we hit that tier, we were just like, dude, we did it. Then it was to be a band that's on a flyer. So then I had a flyer on my wall. It's like, hey, we're gonna play this show at the Palazzo Gallery or whatever. And then by that point, what we're seeing right now, it just kind of like that's what we came to expect every time we played. Like most shows in this era were always crazy packed like that. Yeah. And I don't think we knew it as like something amazing at that time. We definitely found out that it was amazing when that time passed and those same shows only had like 5 people. So at the moment, no, we're just riding that high. But later on, now when we look back on it, we're like, damn, dude, that was just a normal Friday night. Like,
yeah. Well, you know, actually, you know, this is a perfect time to take a break because I do want to talk about the sort of changing landscape that you referred to there. You know, maybe that same show just a few years later, kind of empty, right? But we'll talk about that when we come back. Guys, we're going to take a little break. We usually don't do this, but this is a special episode. We're going to take a 2-minute break. Okay, guys, we'll be back in 2 minutes. We're going to talk to Nick Gomez. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back.
I'm going to go pee. I'll be right back.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Morning After with JP and Big Joe. I've been told that the audio was on during the break. That's hilarious. So we got while I was peeing, I got to hear Nick Gomez say, "I'm gonna go pee. I'll be right back."
So did everybody else.
I am so sorry about that, folks. I will remember to mute our mics next time we're on a break.
We'll never talk about pee again.
Guys, it was the first time we've taken a break in the history of the show. So give me a
We don't take a break.
I'd like to bring on a very special guest. That's not Nick Gomez. He's very special, but we have a second special guest in the studio. Original member of Zombie Holocaust, drummer, one of our greatest friends, Dan Souza's here. Hi, Dan. What's going on, man?
What's up? How's you guys doing?
So good. I am so glad that you're here to you bringing a little, a second opinion on some of these stories. So you can sort of corroborate or disagree with Nicholas Gomez.
Well, I saw the old ZH signal in the sky and was like, oh, the boys are together. I gotta get in there.
Did anybody send Jordan the link?
Yes, I believe he also saw the ZH signal.
Okay,
Jordan, get on that signal.
He's busy wrenching on some, brewery equipment right now or something like that.
He would. So as I mentioned before, Dan, original member, was ZH. We had Dan on the show a while ago. He's told the story of the early ZH days. I wanted to hear it from Nick himself. And we can see how the stories line up one of these days. Someone will do that. Some super fan of our show is gonna do all that hard work. But Dan, I'm glad you're here. We were just gonna talk about the changing landscape of the re-thrash metal movement, and sort of at the turn of the decade, I guess I would say. Nick, what was it like? Because you alluded to it earlier. You said this show, it was sort of expected to be packed on a Friday night, a show at the Gilman. A short time after that, it sort of died off a little bit. What was that like from your eyes? When did that start to happen, and why did you think that? Why did that happen?
I don't know. In my year, I'm gonna guess maybe like 2011 is probably when it started dying out. Just playing shows like, oh, there's not as many people here. When you're playing just thrash, just with other thrash acts.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, I think we already started doing like East or West Coast tours and doing our tours. So we were kind of venturing out of there already. So when we did come back, I would say that the crowd started slowing down. Is that true, Dan? You think that's accurate?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember like what took its place immediately. By the way, I wanted to
dubstep.
Bring up. That's true. Jeremy had the right idea. Like,
Jeremy left
Jeremy became a
ZH.
DJ, and, and then he got big. That fool got big.
You're absolutely right. Fucking Jeremy Power left ZH at the right time. I took his place, and as Dan said, he starts doing DJ shows, and they're selling out. And we have like 15 people. He took all of ZH's fans with him.
We're sitting back here like, why are we lugging all these full stacks around? Like, what the hell?
The laptop.
But no, by the way, I wanted to say, did you guys mention Decapitator and Matt Harvey's bands in there with the first wave? Because I feel like he never stopped, right? And then I feel like all the kid thrash bands in that first revival got a chance to like open up for Matt Harvey's bands like Scarecrow and Decapitator and stuff. Mm-hmm. That really stuck out in my mind as someone who really carried the torch for big and small thrash metal throughout the years when no one was going to thrash metal shows, But no, I mean, I think that does sound about right. And I'm trying to remember the time where stoner metal came into play, because I know that got huge. But there was a few years between that, like, was it black metal got big again, and so
just everything but thrash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because like there was still, it went like punk, like 80s hardcore, then thrash, and then I think it like, hard like and like actual like hardcore, like the more like super like 90s hardcore style bands, I think, were really big throughout that whole thing too. But I'm really trying to remember, like why it kind of died down. That does sound about right though, about 2012 or so. The shows got a little more scarce.
By the time we put out our second album, things were already completely different. which was cool
Oh,
because
yeah.
our second album was completely different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Coincidentally, those years where thrash metal started to take a downturn, Nick, you created with the help of some others the Slaughter by the Water Festival. Now it's sort of a shame that those didn't happen in maybe 2008, 2009. But tell us how Slaughter by the Water kind of came off the ground. I believe the first one was in 2010, when thrash was fucking banging. Tell us about the Slaughter by the Water Festival, how you got it started, and what is the lasting legacy of Slaughter by the Waters?
So 2010, Brian, my good buddy Brian was. We were in Death Guild, which is a goth club, and we saw how packed it was, and we were like, dude, we can throw a show like this. We can get this many people. Like between you and I, like we can make something like this happen. And so that same year we rented out the Oakland Metro, and of course we called all the homies, all the Bay Area homie bands, and then called all the LA homie bands. And thrash was banging in 2010, so we got Toxic Holocaust to headline, and it had all the sickest thrash bands from LA and the Bay and in Portugal and Canada. And yeah, so that show went off without a hitch. It was beautiful. It was very much the ideal show I would want to throw, super DIY, super grungy, dingy. There's Joe. My mom.
Short hair Joe.
That's Sonny. That dude's super rad. He plays in some rad bands. There's Nick Pendergrass from Boston. There's Joe again drinking.
Oh, Joe. Oh,
water.
Man. Drinking
That's how
water.
you do it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just say how happy it made me to see our label mates from Portugal come out, and Prayers of Sanity, came out for one show, and just how happy they were on that stage. And they absolutely rocked it that night too.
They stole the show. That show was theirs, dude. They were so amazing.
Are Prayers of Sanity, are they still a band?
They are. They just put out an album too.
It shreds. It's heavy.
It's brutal, yeah, dude. It's like super, like screaming, like Tom Araya status.
It was their first one in a long time too. They kind of made like a resurgence, I should say.
Wow. Okay.
Do you guys think that we're in the middle of like another thrash resurgence, like a 10-year later thrash resurgence?
It's 10 years from when it died, so we're definitely, or not from when it died, but no, yeah, we're definitely in a 10-year resurgence. That's why you see Bonded by Blood and Fueled by Fire coming back.
I feel like it's getting big.
Yeah, it's all getting big again.
Like Power Trip was about to tour, I think, Europe with Creator or something, and like I feel like we're experiencing another like little uptick in thrash.
Agreed.
Can I come back into the band?
Well, I'll tell you this, JP. Everybody in ZH has left ZH at one point or another, so nobody could ever really leave the band. It's more of an ensemble.
Once you're in the family,
who do you have this time? Who's playing guitar for you guys?
You're in the
no one
family.
can ever leave.
That's fun though. That makes for like a mixed bag. It's like what ZH am I gonna get this time?
Yeah,
it's like those old, those old pots of stew, like in like medieval taverns, that just kept going. They just, and before it would get to the bottom, they would just add more into the stew. And once you're in the stew, it's like you're always part of the 500-year-old stew. That's like Zombie Holocaust.
Oh, that's so. My flavor is still in there, is what you're saying.
Your flavor is still in there. Yeah.
Man, that's fantastic. Well, yeah, I did notice that, Dan. You mentioned it, Bonded by Blood. They're back. Jose, great guest on our show. Love to have him back. Fueled by Fire, they're back. Vindicator just put out a new album. We had Vic on the show a couple episodes ago.
That's
Witch Haven.
That's right. Yep.
I think they just played this weekend, Witch Haven, with DRI, I think, right? Am I making that up?
Yeah. I did see that flyer.
Yeah.
I mean, look at like Aftershock. Look at like the lineup of Aftershock. It's insane.
Well,
so many thrash bands.
Those bands are always going to be playing those shows, right? Testament, Death Angel, Exodus.
That's true, but I think like the following, and the demand for them to all be on like one bill like that.
Yeah,
it was definitely a thrash night for sure.
Like it's, it's interesting to watch. I mean, when I was just at a Riot Fest in Chicago, and Anthrax filled in for Mr. Bungle, and that was like one of the highlights, like the most raging audiences I've seen of that entire festival was like during Anthrax.
It's back.
It's fucking back, dude.
It's back. It's back.
Yeah.
We're saying it right here. It's back, guys. Get your tickets now. Okay.
Man.
So, Nick, tell me about. Well, let's go back to Slaughter by the Water. First show, awesome. Prayers of Sanity. Fog of War played, right, Joe? You did 2 sets that night.
The first year, yeah.
Yeah. Look at you. You were pounding beers, doing 2 sets. You were a hard worker, dude.
It was fun, I think. That's what they told me.
All right, we got a special guest, guys. We got a special guest, folks. One more special guest. My bandmate in Stray Rebel Bullet, Zombie Holocaust, former bass player turned guitar player, Jordan Silvera is on the show. Good morning, Jordan. How are you doing?
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
What are we doing in Jordan's room?
Look at this awesome. Wow, I don't know what's okay. Yeah, look at this beautiful unplanned reunion we've got going on. This is the Entitled to Enlightenment ZH lineup, folks. This was not planned. Thank you for thank you for sending the links out. Jordan, how you doing? Are you at work right now?
I'm at work right now, so it'll be a quick one.
Okay. Okay. Let's get your opinion on something. What happened with thrash metal in the early 2000s? No, in the around 2012. How come all the shows started getting real skinny? How come no one was in the crowd anymore? It's something we said
in 2012.
Yeah.
I think thrash metal was kind of left behind somewhere in the early 90s, tried to come back somewhere in the early 2000s, and then I don't know, man, just different styles of music forming at the time, different genres of music forming and stuff, I guess,
Yeah, you might be right. Well, let me ask you this. How did you end up joining Zombie Holocaust, Jordan?
Let's see. I was offered a quick spot on a few shows that were out of town that Joe wasn't able to attend.
Hold on. Let me interrupt you. I'm so sorry. Let me back up. If I remember correctly, you were offered a spot in the band by Nick, like somewhere in like 2007, 2008. Am I remembering that correctly?
I think so. Yeah, I think that was like MySpace days or something. Like I think maybe I had talked or spoke with Nick at some point back then about maybe a guitar position. I don't think it was bass playing. Was it, Nick? Was it for bass?
No, I think it was for guitar when we were searching for a guitar player after Ricardo left.
And I had such high hopes and high dreams for my first project that went to shit shortly after. And then I was, regretting not taking that position back then. It absolutely.
In my mind, it all starts when Jordan wins the stage diving contest at Burnt Ramen during Zombie Holocaust set.
Wow. I forgot you won a shirt that night, didn't you?
Jordan won the stage diving contest.
Burnt Ramen.
That's when he joined the family in my mind.
Yeah. Burnt Ramen.
I got robbed. I feel like I was overlooked that night just because Jordan's more of a presence. So everyone's watching him stage dive. I'm like, hey guys, I'm stage diving too, but I don't have the presence that Jordan had. So he got the shirt, and I'm still upset about that.
And I still have that shirt today.
Okay.
It's on the floor of your kitchen cleaning up a puddle.
Yeah. I mean, I actually still have that shirt.
Yeah, man. Wow, look at this. I don't know what to say. I didn't have questions prepared for everyone, but I'm so glad everyone's here. This is the Entitled to Enlightenment lineup, our 2013 masterpiece that no one listened to. Nick, let me get your opinion. What was it like? What was it like recording Entitled to Enlightenment, knowing that we were sort of going for a completely different sound, but it came natural, right? Like we weren't like, we're gonna stop playing thrashy thrash metal and start playing this. It sort of came natural, but knowing that we were going into that studio doing something completely different than Strike Force, what was that like?
I know we all went into it going, this is going to be the biggest thing ever, and then all 300 copies eventually got sold.
Are you sure?
I did go to what's that? The record store in Santa Cruz that's right next to the Catalyst. I went there recently. I was going through. I was like,
Streetlight.
Yeah, Streetlight. I was like, dude, they got copies of Entitled to Enlightenment. That's so sick. And then I remembered in 2013 we dropped them off. So that means in like 10 or 7 years it never sold. And I was like, hey guys, can I just like have these? Because you guys aren't going to sell them. He's like, yeah, go ahead, take them. We don't want them.
You didn't put up a fight or anything?
Well, he did a little bit. He was like, oh man, you can't just come back like 7 years later and expect your commission to get your money. I was like, I don't want the money, dude. I just want these CDs that are just sitting here. Like, I literally don't have a copy of this right now. He's like, go ahead. And then he's like, we have some Strike Force too. You want those? I was like, nah, you can keep those, dude.
You know what? You know what? I'd love a copy of that demo, the first JP demo, where you recorded the solos,
the demonstrational sampler.
The demonstrational sampler.
Wow. I completely
Anyone out there
forgot
in the
about
audience
that.
has one of those. If it's up on eBay, take it down. I'll buy it.
I think, man, maybe it's on YouTube or something. That's crazy because I haven't thought about
that's
that
on
in forever. SoundCloud.
Yeah, that was the transitional period. That was like, I remember like, there was a point in time where both you and Jordan, before you joined the bands, were coming to band practice, just like hanging out, like before you joined the bands. You guys were like, at one point, Jordan was our ride to band practice before he was even in the band.
That's
Sorry,
how
I
I
didn't
got
mean to
in
change
the
the
band.
subject. I didn't mean to change the subject there.
Oh, fuck. That's so good. Yeah, Jordan joined in as a bass player. And I believe you, Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you bought a bass for the occasion. You're like, well, if they want me to be a bass player, I'm going to fucking buy a bass and I'm going to do this shit.
Well, after the first run, I borrowed a bass. Thank you, Joe. I borrowed a bass. I had never played bass, a full song.
The white bass
in my life. Yeah.
The white bass. Yes.
Yeah. And then, those shows were pretty successful and we had a great time together and we all had a great time together. And, I think there were some more, options at the time for touring and possibly out of state shows and of course out of the county shows. And I was basically going to be like a permanent, not a replacement, but backup bassist, and I had fun doing it. So I went and bought myself a 5-string Ibanez, so I could be more comfortable with, I guess, my style that I was developing for the short period of time. And then I wouldn't have to go to Big Joe and, take some of his really awesome gear on the road with me and be responsible for that the whole time, so.
Good idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then if I'm not wrong, Joe, was it not your idea to bring Jordan in as a third guitar player?
I was selling it, man. I mean,
you were.
I was already part of the team.
Yeah, no, I remember hanging out at the bar one time, and you were really talking us into it. Not that I didn't need a whole lot of talking into. I don't think anyone did. I think we were like, yeah, let's do it. And then all of a sudden, just like that, ZH became a 3-guitar band.
I was all about it, and my main slogan I remember saying was, the reason why I'm in ZH is because Jordan's here. If you guys wanted me to travel, I was going to have to step down fully. So I couldn't be in ZH without Jordan filling in my shoes. So he was already, there was no big Joe without a Jordan. So he should have been part of the team, and that's how it played out.
And like I said, he's already driving us to practice. So I mean, we need, we needed that ride anyway. So.
Yeah, man. Well, I like that. It was like a sign of respect almost. It's like, dude, you're going out, you're taking my place on the road. Why don't you just come and join us full time?
Well, and have you seen him play guitar?
Guy's good.
Guy's a maniac.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, he left. I don't know if he's going to come back. No worries. That was Jordan from Stray Rebel Bullet. They have a new album coming out soon. And, he's back. Here he is.
Boom.
Watch, he's almost there. He's a wheel. There he is. Hey, Jordan. How you doing, buddy?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're just talking about Stray Rebel Bullet. You got a new album coming out probably this year or early next year, right?
We were shooting for later this year. I think a realistic goal would be to shoot for early next year.
Yeah.
Times are rough. Things change constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I like how you don't have much to say about your own band. You're like, that's you sound like me.
Well, I'm here with the ZH boys.
Well,
It's been a
that's
long
true.
time.
When you left, I was like, oh, Jordan's leaving, so I better plug his band, our band. But now he's back, so we'll just talk about ZH some more.
Jordan really changed the sound for Entitled to Enlightenment. Like with becoming that 3 guitar player band, we started delving into like the harmonies and the complex guitar stuff more, and like definitely like Wagon Burner and songs like that wouldn't be what they are. There's some, I mean, there's just some leads and riffs on there that really stepped it up, I think, for ZH musically.
Yeah, his song is the title track of the album.
I was just going to ask you about that, Nick. How did you? What do you think about Entitled to Enlightenment, the title track, which was written solely by Jordan? All the music was Jordan.
I don't know how we connected those two and made it the title track, but I just know I was really impressed by the song, and I think it just fit what the whole lyrics were about. And if someone's gonna listen to a title track, like that's a really good one for somebody to listen to. Mm-hmm. Granted, it was all written by Jordan, but it is a very good song to represent ZH.
Absolutely, yeah. Jordan joining a band that had such a reputation, Zombie Holocaust. What was it like for you being? Did you feel like a third wheel or anything? Because I don't think anybody made you feel that way. But did you ever feel like a sort of a third wheel?
No one ever made me feel that way besides myself. I wasn't actually used to the concept of 3 guitarists in a thrash band, nor did I feel like anyone's playing specifically could be spotlighted, more than the other, which is a good thing as well. I actually really enjoyed it as far as writing music and being a part of the whole process of writing the new album with 3 guitarists on board who could come with a riff. That riff can turn into someone bringing the melody, and then someone harmonizes the melody over it. I thought it was a really great idea. So
yeah,
I think that was like the loudest we've ever been as a band,
Yeah.
because like I couldn't, 3 guitar players, I kept bugging you guys to turn up the amps, hey, turn up, dude, I can't hear your leads coming through, and then we just kept turning super loud.
And one of the problems of being a 3rd guitarist is everybody wants you to turn up, 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 up. But what happens when you turn up, the bass player turns up, the other guitarist turns up, everybody else turns up, and everybody keeps going, Jordan, up, up. And I'm like, my shit don't go any higher,
Everything louder than everything else, man.
Exactly.
I've heard Dan Souza say, Jordan, turn your amp up like 8,000 billion times. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, I had a solid state for a long time. I had shitty gear, and then I'm trying to compete with the loudest thrash band in the Bay Area, So
yeah. You can say Joe's bass. You're competing with Joe's bass.
It really was. So that's something that, yeah.
All right, guys, I got to get this interview with Nick back on track. Okay.
All right, thank you, guys.
Dan,
Very
I
nice
love
to
you
see you
guys.
guys.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Peace, guys.
This is ZH, guys. All right. This is my ZH. All right. Love you, Jordan. Love you, Dan. Talk to you guys soon.
Later, buddy. Love you.
Oh, cut him off. I did not mean to cut him off right there. He was like, "Love you, good." I'm so sorry, Jordan. I love you, buddy. I did not mean to cut you off. Well, that was a nice surprise. What a nice guy. What a couple of nice guys.
That was good.
Fantastic guys.
Nice
The
guys,
last
right,
time
Nick?
we were all together was February 10th, 2019.
Wow. And that was at Cliff Burton Day.
And the day before that, we were eating pizza at Pizza Pirate.
Oh, such fond memories. Such fond memories.
Pizza and
Yeah.
Cliff Burton Day.
Mm-hmm. Pizza thrash. That's it, right? I don't know.
It's a genre. It's not our genre, but
It
it's
is
a
now.
genre for sure.
Yeah, that's Fog of War's intellectual property. I think anyone else messing with Pizza Thrash, they're infringing. That's my opinion. Except Bonded by Blood. They did the Ninja Turtles song, right? Didn't we talk about this, Joe?
Yeah, but when did they do that? I think after that term was already coined, and then I don't remember.
They're fucking
But the
biting
reason
your
why
shit, dude.
there was pizza thrash bands was because we were hanging out at a pizza parlor, which was Pizza Pirate.
The Real Pizza Thrash Band. All right, if I don't want to go off on a whole pizza thrash rant, because I will, Joe. You know I've done it several times on the show. Okay, I won't. Yeah, so where are we now?
2012.
2012. Yeah. We're recording Entitled to Enlightenment with Sam Zerner, who did the Fog of War records. It took a long time to record Entitled to Enlightenment. I think we started in 2012, early, like somewhere in the middle of 2012, and didn't come out till summer 2013. Why did it take so long?
Originally, I believe it was supposed to just be a demo, and then we liked what Sam was doing so much. Like, can we do the whole thing? Because we definitely started it during Slaughter by the Water, because I remember we were like doing Slaughter promos and recording and practicing for that album. I think our goal was to try to get it out around Slaughter, but that didn't happen. So we like just cut like a really rough demo. I think I could be wrong, but I don't know why it took so long. But I can tell you the reason why we stopped, because we had no end in sight, was we wanted to get it out by the time we went on tour in 2013, which I think was August.
Yes.
And so we were just like, all right, this is the deadline. We need to get everything done. Because I know there was a few things we wanted to change here and there, but it was like we literally made the deadline so much so that we finished recording, we sent it off to printing, we had it shipped to Texas at our first show, and a promoter gave us our CD. Some random person we never met before, we shipped all of our CDs to for the tour. So it literally came in the nick of time. The very
Seriously.
first tour.
And she was like a 16-year-old girl, if I can remember correctly. I think she was like a 16-year-old girl that like put the show together and like booked the show for us. We to her fucking house. We shipped our brand new shipment of CDs that we had never even seen before to a stranger's house. Like, what the fuck? why
what if they spelled something wrong on that CD booklet? Just like Stirk Force. Like, that was our album. There was no turning back at that point.
Yeah, if anybody has a copy of Stirk Force, hold on to that. It's going to be a collector's item one day. Of course, Stirk Force, not Strike Force. There's a difference. I have Strike Force, and somewhere I have Sturkey Force somewhere, but there is a difference between the two. Sturkey Force, of course, has Psychological Torture, one of my favorite.
Two typos on one album. We got to give a shout out to Yeti Palazzolo for making us that album, and shout out to Yev for noticing the typo.
Oh no! Okay, so wait, Yeti did the layout on that?
Yeti did the layout for Strike Force like really well. I would go to his house like a bunch of times to like work it out and everything. He made that shit look sick. And then I remember going, dude, we gotta look at it again. He's like, dude, come on, we've already looked at it enough times, like to make sure there's no typos. You're asking me, someone who can't spell very well in the first place, look for typos. And then at Yeti's house too, I take it to his house, like, dude, check this shit out. I didn't notice typos. And then Yev was there, and he's like, Stirk Force on the spine too. And then again, he's like, psychological torture, really? Luckily, that was only 100 batches. So we eventually ordered the big batch later on.
Oh my god. Wow. So I have one of those. That's like one of 100. I didn't know it was so rare. I knew it was rare, but not that rare.
I think it was for a show was coming up, and we said, let's just get a small batch or something like that.
Wow. The legend of Sturkey Force. The story has been told, finally. Mm-hmm. I never knew about that. So yeah, to record during the recording of Entitled to Enlightenment, you were busy with Slaughter by the Water 2, 3. I think 3. Just the event. You were busy with that, trying to put the show on, trying to record an album, and then 2003 it finally comes out. Did take a long time. Did Slaughter by the Water sort of take up most of your time during that era, because you were the guy behind the festival, this massive festival? It was at the Craneway on the second year. It was on the USS Hornet on the third year. Just massive shit. You know what I mean? Do you think it sort of got in the way with recording?
I think so. Those 3 years of life were dedicated to Slaughter by the Water, and also to be fair, I must state that there's many people behind the scenes helping. Wonderful people.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it takes your whole life, and like once one is done, I remember going, fuck, I gotta start the next year like now. Like I need a whole year to do this. And it just like it was, don't get me wrong, it was something I very much enjoy, and I learned valuable life lessons from it, but it was one of the most difficult times of my life. I even had like a little bit of a health scare during it. I had to go to the doctor and get checked out. I'm like, what the fuck is this about? And he's like, yo, you stressed? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, stop getting stressed. So like, it was
Stop
fun. It was a good time. I learned a lot, and I believe for my future going forward in the film industry, I know a lot more than I would without Slaughter by the Water experience producing an event that costs a lot of time and money and effort and strength.
Does anybody have a fucking clue what it takes to run a festival, Nick?
Not at all. And the comments online definitely show that they don't. They're like, fuck that lineup, dude. Don't go to that shit. That shit's weak. It's like, motherfucker, you know how much of my blood, sweat, and tears is in this shit? Like, you know how, like, there's a video of me being interviewed at Slaughter by the Water 3. And I remember Mosh was watching with me. He's like, dude, you look like shit in that video. I was like, yeah, dude, because I'm dying, dude. Like, I literally haven't eaten that thing all day. I've been running around. Like, I'm going to be up for like 48 hours straight. Literally the day after every slaughter. So every slaughter day, my phone dies from too many text messages. So the next day when I plug it in, turn on, I just see the count go beep, 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 beep. It's like 40 to 50 text messages. And then like, I usually leave my phone off because like, I don't want to deal with business at all. Like me and Brian laid in the parking lot of a Chipotle in a rented truck, just like, fuck, dude, we're dead right now. And like, it's just like,
you can't be dead, man, because these kids want violence. Okay.
They wanted, oh man. And then also we had a bicycle stage at one of them where you had a pedal to actually hear the music. And like when I first got there, I'm like, yo, dudes, why you not riding this bike? And all the metal kids were like, we don't ride bikes. I was like, bruh, unless you ride this bike, those generators don't work. And that stage doesn't work. And after that, all the metalheads lined up for that shit, dude. We even got Chuck Billy riding a bike during the Z8 set, during Pedal to the Metal. I was like, yeah, at Pedal to the Metal, he is riding the bike on the stage right side.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, Chuck Billy, Pedal to the Metal. And he was like,
oh my gosh. Wow. It was an honor to have Chuck Billy host the show and he introduced our band at Slaughter by the Water 3. That was such an honor, but I didn't know that he was putting in work to make it happen, essentially, because as you said, if people stop pedaling those bikes, the show's over. And unfortunately, it actually happened to a couple bands. But some bands had a lot of power. They had keyboards and all this stuff, a lot of stuff.
They were very cool about it. They was like, hey, hopefully we'll be on the big stage next year. And if there wasn't next year, I would have put them on the big stage next year.
Yeah.
It's cool that you mentioned Chuck Billy. He was super cool. Like, I got to meet a bunch of rad dudes and dudettes. And not all of them were as rad as Chuck Billy. Like, some people wanted something from me, and mostly that something from me was money. And Chuck Billy came straight up like this. Originally, we had Testament for a while. We were working with him, and then like at a certain point in time, we weren't able to get him. And I was like, damn, that's my headliner. Like, what do I do, dude? Slaughter is coming, and I don't have a headliner. And so he told Exodus that, hey, we need some help. And then Exodus called like, hey, dudes, we heard Testament can't do it, so we'll do it for you. And they were super chill, super dope, really fucking cool guys. I got to go to their. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, was Chuck managing Exodus at the time? Because he became the manager of Exodus, right?
That was after, but that was coming up really close because that breaking bands deal thing came up. I remember calling them about ZH. I was like, yo, you want to break ZH in? What's up? They didn't give us a call, but it was cool. But anyways, so I'm at home, like super bummed that Testament can't play. At this point, did I talk to Testament? I don't think I talked to Testament yet. I was only talking to management at that point. So just dealing with the management. And then I get a phone call and the dude's like, hey, Nicholas. I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey, this is Chuck Billy. I'm like, hold on a second. I was like, put on mute. I was like, what? Hey, dude, what's up? What can I help you out with? And he was like, hey, man, do you want to come to my house? I was like, hold on. What the fuck? I was like, yeah, dude, where do you live? Let's go. So he invites me over to his house, which is this big, beautiful place. I get to meet his wife, super awesome woman. And he takes me in the house and he's like, hey, man, I can't play the show for you, but maybe I could host it for you. I was like, dude, that would be sick. And then he was like, how about you come over? We make some promo videos. So we made like Native American promo videos for the Native American Health Center in his house. And he was super chill. He showed me the Native Blood video before it came out. And he was like, I don't know if I'm going to put the quotes in the beginning and the end. I don't think I'm going to do it. I have some things with it. I can't do it. And then I told him my piece. I was like, I think you should do it because, and then he ended up by putting those quotes in there because I convinced him to do it. was sick. I'm sure he
Look at that.
did it for other reasons too, but I remember him telling me, I'm not going to put him in. I was like, dude, you have to do it because we are many nations, young people, and folk can come from any tribe. And then he put that shit in.
And then you became a director that day. That was your directorial debut.
Got one piece of that video, but he was super rad. He called me and was like, "Hey, do you want to come to the Testament rehearsal studio while we prepare for these shows?" I was like, "Yeah, dude." So I brought Jordan with me, and so Jordan and I were in the Testament studio while they're like rehearsing.
God.
And they're like, "Hey, you can't film us." So me and Jordan just filmed me and Jordan like rocking out. We're like, "Dude, we're hanging out with Testament right now, we're right there." And they're like legit, like that was with the Great Christian, like the whole band and everything. And then afterwards, we got to give him a cool interview too. And Jordan's like filming, and he told me, he was like, "I'm like shaking the camera the whole time because like Testament's right there, and you're just hanging out with them." It was pretty dope. Exodus did the same too. They invited me into their studio. I got to do an Exodus video with Rob Dukes and Tom Hunting, and both of those dudes are freaking awesome dudes.
These are sort of pinch yourself moments. What are some moments, because you've met a lot of people in rock and roll. You've done so much. Just being in Zombie Holocaust is just scratches the surface of what you've done in the music scene in the Bay Area and the metal scene in particular. What else were some pinch yourself moments kind of thing? Like what was a moment where you're like, I cannot believe I'm here right now? I think you interviewed Dave Brocky.
I did, yeah, as Odorous. I interviewed him as Odorous.
Yeah, pardon me, you interviewed Odorous.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was super intimidating, dude. I was like it's intimidating just because like I know he can chew me up verbally and spit me out, and like he was so polite to me during the interview. Because I accidentally walked into his dressing room on accident, and he was just chilling, and I was like, "Oh shit, hey, what's up, dude?" And then he was like, "Hey man, hey, my name's Dave. Nice to meet you." Like super chill. He was like sleeping on the couch. I'm like, "Oh, sorry to interrupt, dude. I was just looking for my friend." And then I was like, "Oh, I have an interview with you later today." It was like right before you go on. I was like, "Tight, okay, cool." So we were looking for a place, and we're backstage at the Regency, and the Regency is super tiny backstage. His costume barely even fit. And I was like, "Dude, we got to do the math. There's no other place to stand with your thing so big." So he's like, "Okay," and he sits on the toilet and does the interview from the toilet. And he was super cool. And like I was super nervous. If you watch that interview, I'm just like, But I mean, I think I held my composure well. But like, interviewing Dave Brocky is a very intimidating thing. I got to work with Dave Lombardo a little bit, and he was super cool, super down to earth. Literally, the best part of Slayer is Dave Lombardo, dude. And like, I got him to like send me some video messages. We talked on email and stuff like that. He's in one of the Slaughter videos. I was like, "Hey, the next band I'm going to announce is, you know what? I'm going to let my buddy announce it." And then Dave goes on camera. He's like, "Hey, thanks, Nick. My new band Film is going to be playing Slaughter by the Water." And he kept posting stuff about it. But then we finally met at Slaughter by the Water. And I'm like running things, going around, like trying to get everything. And then a van comes up on my side. And I turn around. And it's Dave Lombardo driving his own van. I'm like, "Sick, what's up, dude? Park right here. Let's unload your stuff." And he gets out. I'm showing him around and everything. Someone gives me like a big old bag of weed, so then I gift it to Dave Lombardo, and he's like, "Whoa!" You can tell us stoked off his weed I gave him. And then he walks by our merch booth, and he was like, he's like, "Sick, oh, bootleggers?" I'm like, "Nah, man, that's my family," because they're like selling all of our gear for us.
Oh shit!
He's like, "Oops." I'm like, "Nah, don't even worry about it, dude. Let me check it out." And then he like tells me something great. He was like, "You did all this?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, me and my homies." And he was like, "You could be the next Bill Graham." I'm like, "Right on, my man. Thank you." Like, cool words. I don't want to be the next Bill Graham, but super cool that Dave Lombardo saw that in me.
Wow, that's huge, man. I've heard only nothing but good things about Dave Lombardo. Wow, to hear the next Bill Graham, but you know, we all know you're the first Nick Gomez. So
thank you.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Although there is another director, Nick Gomez, but I don't think he uses Alexander in the middle, so I'll use Nicholas Alexander Gomez.
You know, I wasn't sure how to advertise this episode, if you should just be Nicholas Gomez or Nicholas Alexander Gomez. For space reasons, I cut out the Alexander. I'm very sorry about that. But
in one movie that I worked on, for space reasons, I always put Nicholas Alexander Gomez, and they chopped off my name in the credits to just Nicholas Alexander. So it's not on the IMDb. I was like, "Come on, bro, my last name's Gomez, dude." But it's cool because my son's name's Alexander. Shout out to Alexander.
Perfect.
Both of our names are in the credits of this film.
Wow. Just to put a pin on this, to put a bow, rather, not a pin. I want to put a bow on this Slaughter by the Water conversation. Joe, do you have any good memories of any of the Slaughter by the Waters? Do you have any memories at all? I know we were both drinking sort of heavy during that time, but man, got to play you got to play 3 awesome Slaughter by the Water gigs. Any memories that stick out?
There's a bunch that stick out, but I'd have to say that my favorite one was number 3, even though that was a super stressful day, even for me. I know the stress that Nick was put under. I wasn't even working that event, and I ended up getting put to work. And I remember running the ticket booth in the very front, accepting tickets before everyone got there, and bands started checking in, and the people that were volunteering were like, "Where's Nick?" And everyone's like, "I don't know." So like bands started checking in. It's like, all right, well, I have restaurant experience, so let's start running this shit, And a band comes up and they're checking in and stuff like that, and I don't even know who these guys are, and they're kind of looking at me like, "Yeah, dude, we're impaled." I'm like, "Oh, impaled's here. Give them whatever they need." And then Nick and Brian end up showing up, and I'm like, "All right, I'm the fuck out of here." But just spending all day out in the sun, I remember needing to take a nap afterwards. I was so worn out, and I rode the bike too. The bike, I think it made it kind of special when people were playing, and then the power just turned off, and all you could hear was just the acoustic of the drums, and then
Yeah.
that's what made it real fun.
You know what? It was fun as a viewer, maybe not for a performer.
Or
but
anybody
still,
who
I
owns
mean,
a tube amp.
and then it just got everyone kind of pumped, and we powered that stage. It was an epic day. I got to hang out with Baby Huey. I believe that was the first time I met Baby Huey that day.
Love that guy.
Yeah, that was one of the first times I met Hippie Cronin. He was a friend of still is of Witch Haven. My buddy Hippie. We all thought he was in Witch Haven. He was just around so much. He was just hanging around, and that's that we talked about. Recorded that video that I kept changing hats in. That Nick did.
Yeah, Hippie's definitely the fifth Beatle when it comes to Witch Haven.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, and I love how when you ask Joe for like, hey, any good memories from that? He's like, yeah, working and then standing in the sun all day. Those are my favorite. Those are my memories.
That was the thing though. Like that was, granted, there was the scene behind the scenes, but like on the day, every band member went to work for that. Like, everybody, like that wasn't
absolutely.
Like, nobody made $1 off that show unless we hired you as like a band or lighting, or I guess the ship made a couple dollars as well too. But
Probably.
like all that was just a labor of love that we all put into that thing. And
yeah, I mean, after the show, none of us could even focus on getting laid because we were busy disassembling the stage.
Yeah.
It was a cool thing about the third Slaughter by the Water.
Mm-hmm.
That was the ship that pulled Neil Armstrong out of the water.
And that was the day he died.
And then the day he died, what was it? NASA officials came to the ship and then asked us to, I believe it was Nick that made the announcement on stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
That was pretty incredible that NASA came and had asked us to do that. We were on a historical site on a pretty special day.
You know what? I didn't know that was the ship that pulled him out of the water. Did you know that, Nick? You had to have known that.
I did, yeah, because the reason why the show was running behind Slaughter by the Water is because they were like, hey, PBS and all kinds of news here, and they're doing a report on the inside of the ship because they actually had his vessel that landed in the water. And they're like, you can't go in yet. And I was like, yo, dudes, like there's a strict time schedule, but I'll do what I can. Like this is mad respect out here. So I read my piece that they asked me to read. I totally forgot about that, Joe. Thank you for reminding me. And then I know they were interviewing a bunch of people, and like PBS and all the newscasts went up to the head of the ship and was like, what is going on here today outside? And the guy really didn't like the name Slaughter by the Water, but he was like, Slaughter by the Water Heavy Metal Festival. So like we got national attention because of that. And like that ship was like a brutal endeavor to work with. And the dude did not want a heavy metal concert in his museum.
Oh, man.
My museum. But the metalheads were so respectful. The docents, I believe they're called, all the elders who were like military people who showed people around the ship, they were like thanking me at the end. They would see me, Nicholas, you're coming back next year, right? Like they had such a good time because the metalheads love the military history that those dudes felt like rock stars walking these people around telling them stuff. Like they love that shit, dude. We sold guided ghost tours and stuff. Well, we didn't. We sold them for the ship. Like we made them a bunch of dough. We brought a bunch of traffic. Like They loved it, dude. And then one thing that happened that we kind of messed up is they have an elevator that so all the ships are inside the hangar bay, and those ships take an elevator, the like jets that go up to the flight deck so they can fly off. Well, we set up the bar on the flight deck elevator, and we had so many people on that elevator that it started sinking. We had to emergency evacuate everyone off of the elevator. An elevator that lifts up jets had so many drunk metalheads that shit
Oh
started
my
going.
god, I remembered that. That was such a cool setup, but I didn't hear about the emergency. Wow.
Yeah, they're like, we gotta get everybody off. I was like, all right, everybody get the fuck off this shit right now. It's going down. And then we moved inside. It was cool too, because it started getting real cold out there. Like we still had a concert, even though we moved inside, we still had another concert outside for free going on with like Scott Kelly, Neo Kelly, the Neurosis dude, a bunch of locals. It was cool. Like we had our free event and then we had our inside event as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Accessibility. For those who don't have money.
Yeah, and a bunch of people snuck in too as well too.
Yeah,
I had Yeti.
It was bound to happen.
One of our friends came up to me. They're like, "Dude, we just found out you can go through this back door and not have to pay it." I'm like, "Dudes, why are you telling me that, dude? You're taking it out of my pocket, man. Like, I'm the one who paid for this."
You realize no one's getting paid, right? Okay, just all right.
All right,
Sneak in.
go ahead and just steal from me, dude. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Karma from all the shows I got into for free.
I did say that I was going to put a bow on this, but I've just reminded myself. What happened with the live stream? Wasn't there going to be a live stream? And I think I talked about this on the show a couple days ago. Somebody blew it when it came to the live. This is supposed to be streamed live across the internet for the whole world.
Right now, we're live streaming right now. This is incredibly easy with modern technology, modern fiber optic internet. It's super simple. In 2011 at the Crane Pavilion, one person randomly live streamed it, and that live stream got the most world views on the website called Ustream, and it got the most views out of ever. And it was broadcast in every single Hard Rock cafe in the world. So like everybody was watching it. It had like 80,000 views or something like that. Something where we set a record. So like people are going to watch this. Granted, live streaming was very difficult in 2011, 2012. 2012, we go to the ship. We're like, we want to live stream. And we're just like, we don't have the technology here to do that. So we spent a lot of money to bring a dude who did have a satellite van to come out and live stream that. He sets it up. I want to say he had like multiple cameras. I didn't watch it. I was working. It was super dope. And then all of a sudden I'm like outside and I'm talking to John Rootness. Shout out to John Rootness. He comes up to me and he's like, "Hey dude, there's no audio on the live stream." I'm like, fuck. So we go and find the dude. "Bro, there's no audio. What the front door?" And he's like, oh, sorry. There we go. Flips the switch, turns it on. As he's getting high. "Bro, you didn't check your audio first before you start chilling?" And this was like 5 bands deep, dude. Like this was already like the second to last band. Like I think X is, I don't even know. It was very the end, and then the audio goes on. Like, dude, what did we just pay you for?
Hopefully you didn't.
No, we did. Like it was already like said and done, dude. It was horrible.
That hurts. Does that exist anywhere? I'm in the fucking band and I've never seen this live stream before. Does it exist? Have you seen it?
I think it was a thing like Twitch. I think it deletes after a while. Like, yeah, no, I don't have. I have footage and like mini DV tapes and stuff, but no, I never saw it.
Wow. So
I didn't see any band play in the inside. Like I was running around counting stuff. Like I didn't see nothing. The only time I got a break is when ZH played for the 30 minutes. That was my lunch break.
You ate thrash for lunch. Very healthy. Yeah. Wow, man. I would like to see that.
Shout out to Vindicator though, because those dudes drove across the country in a Greyhound van to play 20 minutes at Slaughter by the Water too.
Yeah.
Didn't JP, you picked them up from the Greyhound, correct?
Yeah, and we talked to Vic about this the first time he was on the show last year, and we almost lost all of their gear. We jumped on the freeway with the back of the truck wide open with their gear in it, and then somebody drove up next to us, was like, "Yo, open!" And we were like me and Dan just died inside, but nothing fell out. Nothing fell out.
That would have been so bad to write. I mean, you and I have ridden in a Greyhound bus for multiple days in a row, and it is not fun, dude. And we played multiple
close to the worst days of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Very close, dude. 48 hours on a Greyhound bus is like prison.
Leave on Friday, show up on Sunday. It was brutal. We got kicked off the bus. That was pretty scary in Texas. They're like, nope, you guys can't get back on the bus. I was like, what about our belongings? They're like, nope, can't have them. And I was like, oh, dude. So I think you guys sent me in to go talk to the driver.
Tell the story. Okay, so it's 2013. We're on a Greyhound bus headed to Texas for our Entitled to Enlightenment tour. And I think we were in Texas when this happened. What happened?
I believe a couple of band members, excluding myself, because I made a friend on that bus who I'm still friends with today. You guys went out to have a quick smoky break, and all of a sudden there's a security guard on the bus as well too. And he comes around that corner. I'm like walking behind the security guard, like looking for you dudes. And we both come around the corner, and he goes, "No!" And then he was like, "What?" And then like they're like, "Blah blah blah blah. You guys are kicked off the bus." And then he looks at me and my friend. He's like, "You guys too." I was like, "We weren't even doing anything." And then he's like screaming at us, and like I try to talk some sense, and I follow him into like the 7-Eleven where I'm like, "Dude, please, like we're from California. Those are my boys. They don't know any better, dude. It's so chill in California, dude." And he was just like, "Nope." And then eventually he gets like a little glimmer of like, maybe forgive you. You have to talk to the bus driver and see if he'll even allow you guys back on. So I go up there. I'm from California. You will be arrested. I was like, all I'm asking is that we can please just get our bags so we can like figure this out. And then eventually, after talking to him, he lets us back on the bus. And he was like, "You guys can't have that stuff again." He's like, I was like, "They already smashed it. They threw it out. Like we had a bunch of like edibles and stuff we had to get rid of. Like, and there was like, it was pretty scary. They had like drug dogs, sniffing dogs come on there. I was like, dude, this is frightening. But fortunately, that was our last bit of bad luck because we reached Texas, and then we got to. I don't remember our first stop in Texas, but we spent 5 days in Texas. Houston, at the White Swan. And we played, and we didn't get kicked off, and we got all our gear, and worked out.
We were terrified. We were all of us were like, we just ruined this tour before the first show. Like we didn't even get to play a show. Jordan was like telling us, "I think we fucked up, dude. Like, I think we fucked up. No, I think we fucked up." And I'm like, "Joe, don't say that. Don't say that." Like, and he was right, because he was absolutely right. We fucked up. Like, we fucked up badly. Like, I thought it was over for us. And then, you're right. We elected Nick. Nick, you got to help us. Go talk to the guy. Like, Nick is the only guy that's going to come off, like, well in this situation. And you did it. You did it. Credit to you. We got back on that bus, and we made it to Texas.
Dad told me, he's like, "Nick, you're wearing a collared shirt. You got to go talk to him." I was like, "All right, cool."
Oh my God. Yeah, I did throw away some of my weed. I was like, I didn't throw away all of it. I'm not crazy. I'm not made of money. I had some of it. I was like, "Oh no, I'll throw it away, dude. We'll get back on the bus." No, look, gone. It was like some of it, but I had so much.
As you're holding your butt cheeks tight as you walk back on the truck.
Oh my God.
That was a good show. We didn't even say shout out to Fatality.
Shout out to Fatality, the best dudes, the best Canadian band ever, including Rush.
Yeah, you guys gotta have Spencer on the show. I would love to see Spencer on here.
God, I love Spencer so much. I cannot believe we haven't reached out to him. We'll do that. Spencer, if you're watching, seats open, buddy.
Spence, get on the show, dude.
Let's talk about that tour. What was that like? I'm gonna say that for every question now. What was that like?
That was 30 days. Like,
was it 30 days on the road? So we were promoting this album entitled To Enlightenment that we had just recorded. Hadn't even really heard it yet, and toured up and down the whole U.S. Well, not the whole USA, but a lot of the USA.
Like 50% of it. I think we did like a good little wrap around this side of this.
What was it like going for? And you were sober at the time, of course. What was that like going on tour?
It was rough because it was 30 days. It started with a Greyhound. I'd never been away from my family and my wife for that long. Like, I was just recently married. I got married the year before, so I was like, I don't want to go. I want to hang out with you, babe. But we ended up by going. We take the Greyhound bus. We do Texas. We arrived in Texas, and Fatality already did 30 days. So we were joining them at the halfway point. So, like, when we saw them, they were, like, beat. They were just like in a parking lot somewhere in Texas. It was hot and nasty. But when we got there,
we were all excited to see them too, and they were so fucking burned out. We're like, "What's up, dudes?" They're like, "What's up?"
They said that we brought new life, though, like that we made that tour more enjoyable because now everybody has a row buddy, and I had Sean with me in the back, and Sean was great.
Yeah.
Actually, Sean actually taught me how to use cameras back in that back seat. Like, I didn't know how to use a DSLR, and like the camera I'm using now, I know how to use it because of Sean. So shout out to Sean.
Shout out to Sean and Edsy, the hosts of the Doing Baseball podcast. Sean and Eds Do Baseball. I've been on that show a few times. It's a great podcast, and I love those guys. I just like you, I developed lifelong friendships on that tour. So yeah, you were back there with. Was that true? Were you sitting back there with Sean most of the time?
Yeah, I had the back row with him, which was like the most ideal spot. Like nobody else wanted it because they thought the airflow was going to be bad back there. But no, it was great. Anytime a window opened, came straight all to us. So we loved it back there. It was chill. We had a trailer, so there wasn't a lot of stuff in the van. Like it was a very enjoyable experience, and a lot of those memories are just like we'll never ever lose them, and will always be cherished. The Rainbow Bridge, the camping outside in Oregon with no tent, like. I mean, everything. Seattle was amazing with my cousin Brian, Ashley, and Zion, who housed us for those like 2-3 days. Like, yeah, that tour was probably the best tour of my life. And like, if I ever go on tour again, which may or may not happen, I'm happy that was at least the last one. That was such an experience.
Wow, that's so nice. Because I mean, you had been on tour a few times with the older ZH lineups. You toured the entire USA with Premonition. Dan told us a bit about that tour. What was that, 2009, I think?
I want to say 2009. We didn't have a bass player at the time, so Monica was like, I'll do it. And she learned all the songs like within weeks. And I remember at that time we had she learned Repulsive Bastards too, because we had that song. We weren't playing it live yet, but that was in that catalog at that time. But she went on tour with us with Premonition. Shout out to Mo, Ruby, Omar, and Christian. We went on that U.S. tour, the whole perimeter of the U.S. in 2 weeks. It was a nightmare. It was horrible. It was our first tour. It was the best tour in the entire world, but we didn't know what we were doing. So we had long 24-hour drives overnight.
That's what Dan said. Like it was just all over the map. Like
it was in a circle counterclockwise around the country, but it was just like, whoa, dude, we're driving there in less than 24 hours. Like why is it so far? But we didn't know what we were doing. But it was cool. We even showed up at one place where we got there and we're like, hey, where's the show? Where's everybody at? And we finally get a hold of the promoter. She's like, you guys suck. We're not booking the show later. And like, we're like, we're at the venue. And the venue owner was like, I'm sorry, guys. I got a dude who owns a bar who would love to have you. So we ended up going playing a bar that night, which is cool. It worked out. It was a great show. It's like, yeah, some venue owner or some promoter was like, you guys suck, and hung up on us. Granted, she got a bunch of prank phone calls for like 2 weeks that night. But, you know, you live and you learn. You learn your loves.
Good idea. So the 2013 tour, say it was a success. We got to hang out with. It was a success for me. I met my wife on that tour. See, it was different for me than it was for you. I met somebody on that tour, whereas you were ripped away from your family for an entire month, which has got to suck. I didn't know what that felt like at the time because I was I was fucking literally homeless at the time. So I was just happy to go out, you know what I mean? But I couldn't see it from your point of view, you know, like I miss being home. That must have felt terrible, man. 30 whole days.
It was brutal. And then it was brutal, but Santa Cruz was like day 17. So we did get a little bit of home time in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. And now that you have a son, oof, it'd be tough, wouldn't it?
I don't know that I would never go on tour right now that he's this age. And if I did, him and Monica would definitely be coming with me. Maybe in the future, maybe when he's older and, you know, he has his own thing and doing his own, like when he's 18 or whatnot. I mean, kind of like we're in the position that Joe's in, like can't do it at this certain age, but later on down the line we can. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, as far as like music goes for me personally, remember that list that I made of stickers and flyers and all that? The few things that I haven't been able to achieve yet is I want to play the Great American Music Hall. I would like to play a European festival. That's about it. Those are the two that are on the list that I haven't reached yet. And, you know, I think
that's a short list.
Yeah, because everything else, I mean, music videos, fans, T-shirts, like, I don't know. I mean, ZH is 10. I don't know how many years we've been around. A lot of years, but from what we have achieved, I'm pretty happy with it. Like, it's not what most people would say is successful band, but for me and my friends and the community that we impacted, I'm absolutely happy with it. And if it never continued a day past today, I would go to sleep happy because we made a huge impact in the world and we also changed some things. And I like to think that our positive outlook on life and things that we promote have maybe changed some other people as well too.
I hope it did too. It was very different. ZH was the most different thrash band, if you want to call it that. There was. We played Native American powwow.
We did play a powwow.
We played a powwow. I mean, what the fuck?
They dug it too, dude. They were dancing, dude.
Yeah.
They were dancing, dude. We had fancy everything.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that personally that I'm proud of. You know what I mean? So much more than if we were able to fill up some room, with a bunch of drunk dudes. That's cool too. But I appreciate the little victories, and I feel like doing stuff like that, like playing powwow, that's like a little victory. So I really like the way you frame that. If it ended today, it'd be happy. You feel happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you, not that ZH is gone or anything. ZH is dormant, would you say?
I would say dormant. I would say, like I mentioned in the past, every member has left ZH from one time or the other, which is completely okay because I never pictured it as like this 4 or 5 member unit. I picture it as an ensemble. Like we definitely would love to see Jeremy Bauer come back and play with us on stage again. Like we've brought Mosh, we brought Ricky, both Rickies, like so many people. You asked the question, how many bass players? I don't know, dude, 10, 12, 13, me and you actually all 3 of us have played bass for ZH at one point in time.
Yeah.
I very much consider it an ensemble or a collective. So all of us can leave at a certain point and return, but there's always an understanding that if Dan Souza left or is taking a break, then we chill, because there is no ZH without Dan Souza. I mean, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's Nick." Like, no. Like, it's Nick and Dan. Like, we started that shit. We started that shit in a bedroom in 2006, and
it's
then
both. It's both.
Few years later, we got tattoos, matching tattoos, and we made a promise to each other. And we're like, "I'm in it until you're in it. I'll take it to the end, too. Take it in. And when you're done, I'm done." And then we still have those tattoos. Like,
there it is. Didn't even have to ask. All right. So Dan's got the same one in his lip too, right?
He does.
This is a dumb question. Did that hurt a lot?
I remember vagueness of it. I just remember going with a pencil underneath, going, "Ah!" and like that was it. I just remember that very quick.
Oh my gosh, so good. Yeah, I agree with you, but it's half Nick and half Dan. Obviously, if Dan left, it wouldn't be ZH, but it would be the same if you weren't there either. So. It's as long as Nick and Dan are there. I look at it as a continuation, like just a constantly evolving, rolling planet is what ZH is. Members come and go, and maybe one day. If thrash metal starts to tick up a little bit, I might join. I might rejoin.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Remember, no one can ever leave. When Joe left, we're like, "No, you're not leaving."
They wouldn't let me quit.
I still put you in the music video.
Right?
Yeah, Joe, you quit I think you quit around like 2012 somewhere, didn't you?
It was probably around 2012.
Or 13 maybe. I can't remember anymore.
It might have been that too.
Yeah. Why did you leave then? It was just too many things on your plate.
Family stuff got difficult and complicated.
Yeah.
And then it just got to the point to where, how Nick was saying, the kids are starting to get a little older, and then I saw a point in my life where I was able to come back and, I'm ready to do it again. Let's do it.
I love that. That was a sad day when you quit, Joe. I was sad that you called me. I was in the car with my boss and he had just gotten into a car accident. So I stepped out of the car and then my phone rang and then you quit the band. I was like, oh, what a day.
I called you guys all at the same time. Got off the phone with you, called Jordan. Got off the phone with you, called Dan.
That's a good man.
Dan, called
good
Nick.
Man. Yeah. But then you joined again. Then you're back.
Again, Nick never let me quit. He was like, "Oh, it's all good, man. We'll see you soon." Like, even I think when I was quitting, like he just, he wouldn't let me break up with him.
It's true. It does feel like a breakup too. I remember when our first like bass player that like super admirable was Travis Russi. I mean, Ricky T's super admirable too, but Travis Russi. I was like, dude, this dude is a fucking death metal bass player, super sick, professional gear. And then when he called, I was in Rasputin's, and I was like, damn, I feel like I just got broken up with, dude. This sucks. Like anytime a member has left and called me, I'm like, I literally feel like I'm getting broken up with. It's brutal.
Why did Travis quit? If it's
He
not
lived
too
far
personal.
away, dude. He lived in like Petaluma, I think, and he was just like, I
Oh,
can't
okay.
keep making those drives. But he was
Yeah,
in it.
fair
It was
enough.
sick, dude. It was cool having him in. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, yeah. He did a lot of years in Hatchet. I don't know if he's still
Oh,
there,
yeah.
but I don't think so. But yeah, Travis, good dude. One of the 3,000 ZH bass players.
Mhm, mhm.
I believe there's more than 17 because I think I was number 17.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, JP, we played a powwow twice actually. Because I
Yeah,
played bass
yeah.
at one of the powwows.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh my gosh, we did.
We did, remember?
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's all a blur. It's all a
Blur.
blur. It's all a blur. I did study for this episode too, but it's a lot of it is still rather blurry. But yeah.
I had a list
so,
of shout outs that I wanted to give, and I think we've hit most of them. I'm trying to get them all on the stories and everything.
Well, you mentioned Premonition, the guys in Premonition. I want to say Omar says I still have a sealed copy of Sturkey Force.
Dang, you should keep that. That'll be at least worth like $4 one day.
Sealed. We also got this one. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and viewers on Big Follows. BigFollowsSpace.com. I wanted that
We should get
space.
some of them big follows.
Anytime, I love when people comment this because anytime they do, I put it right on the show. That way, people can, if they want to be famous or buy followers, they can do it too.
Yeah,
Shouldn't just be
hopefully we
for
have
us.
their account, giving them a couple followers as well.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Thank you, Ozlsneese 199664. Thank you so much.
What a nice guy.
Yeah, what a
Great
nice
guy.
guy. Yeah, the
guy.
chat's going off, people. It's going crazy.
Looks like
So,
we have 17,000 viewers right now.
Yeah,
Something like that.
I've got 90,000 on my view.
Oh, yeah. Let me refresh it. Yeah, no, it's 90. It's 90.
Wow, so many people. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. You can definitely let us know you're here in the comments. Appreciate it. Yeah, we come back from tour. Entitled to Enlightenment happens. I moved to LA, and then the band sort of has just kind of been hanging out since
What did we do?
2014.
So around that time, I want to say that Jordan left. And when Jordan left, we stopped too. Jordan's a big force. Jordan's a very special person. When he left, we needed to stop for a while. And we literally stopped for a year, dude. It was a year because I was like, oh, we're not in this band anymore. And I had him like Jordan. I hit him up. We went out to dinner. I was like, dude, we got to do this again, man. I'm itching, dude. I need a show. I need to do this. And I was like, well, okay. I think I'm down. I'll come back. And so he came back and he got Dan on board. And then that's when we kind of started playing again, 2013. But also when we got back from the tour is when I started film school. So like I also kind of needed to withdraw a little bit too. So literally the same month I went to film school 2 weeks after we got back from tour, which was super rad.
Wow. I don't remember. Pardon me. I don't remember that part about that. Wow, you went to film school right after tour.
2 weeks. I remember a lot of the photos. I'm wearing an SFSU like sweater because I'm like super stoked to go to that, which is cool. And Sean visited me from Canada and came to school and like showed him around. I was the head of a Native American group called Skins at that time. I'm like, dude, check out this office. This is sick. Yeah, it was pretty tight. So I did that for like two years.
Yeah, that's actually perfect because I wanted to ask you about that. You've in the years since Entitled to Enlighten come out, you've done a lot of work in your homeland with your tribe out there, sort of not exactly sure what you do. I believe you're there like overseeing a lot of like preservation and restoration of areas like in your homeland. Tell us about what you've been doing like with your tribe and out there in the homeland.
So what I do is I do cultural monitoring. It's basically the same as archaeology work. The only difference is I'm looking for things that are prehistoric that relate to my tribe, whereas they're looking for anything that's 50 years and older, newspapers, bottles, anything like that. Oh. So what we do is we monitor mostly construction sites or city maintenance or anything where there's going to be digging, and it's digging in a culturally sensitive area. In these areas, we know we have deemed them culturally sensitive, or sometimes we find new culturally sensitive areas. And what it is when they dig, we stand there, we look, we see something, we ask them to stop, we go in the hole, we get it. And if it's an artifact, we record it, we keep it or give it to the archaeology firm. And then if it's a human remains, which it has been from time to time, then we have them stop construction and we safely remove our ancestors' remains and rebury them in a place that we have here in the homeland.
That is incredible.
It's pretty cool.
That's incredible, man. Like, I thought you were part of a team that was like doing the digging, and you were there like monitoring that. But so they're like digging stuff up for construction, all this stuff, and you're simply taking care of what they find, potentially.
Yeah, I'm just watching every shovel scoop or every excavator scoop and like seeing what's in there. Sometimes I'll go and stand either where they're dropping it or where they're digging it, just to like see. I'll go through it, like. If I see certain soils changing different colors, if this like midden, I can know that someone might have been here. I found like old campsites, hand tools, that kind of stuff. But just like very much trying to protect two things: the history of my tribe and the remains of my ancestors.
Absolutely. Thank you for all you do for the culture, Nick.
Thank you, Laura. Definitely a shout out to Laura for being the most inspirational person that I've ever seen online.
Absolutely.
And in real life.
Girl's cool, man. She's a cool one.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, man, I didn't know. That is incredible. And so I'm sure that that it's quite rewarding a lot of the time. I imagine it's very heavy too, like heavy on your soul. Do you feel that when you're out there?
Absolutely. I actually had a cousin who had to stop because it's like we're watching this beautiful like natural earth area be destroyed or ripped apart, and then if we do actually find someone, we're like, well, how would you feel if your grandparents' graves were desecrated? I mean, granted, it's not my grandparents, but it's actually my great grandparents and great uncles. It's like my bloodline that we trace back to the mission system and prior. So it's pretty sad, but the thing that keeps my head up when I do it is I'm here protecting it, or my cousins are there protecting it. Like I would not want a stranger doing it because they don't understand the significance of what this piece of shell that's worked in this way means, kind of thing. So it's sad seeing things destroyed, but it's also rewarding being able to be there.
You said about people not seeing the significance of such things. I imagine that's a problem that you must deal with all the time, because for the most part, none of us understand what that would feel like, right? I mean, unless someone went up to their grandma's cemetery and dug that up, but I mean, no one's going to do that. I imagine you deal with, I don't want to say ignorance, but a lot of people have literally no idea what you're going through or what you're doing.
I've dealt with some ignorance, and it's mostly just the uneducated. And also time is money, and me stopping them from digging is costing them tons of money. So it's not in the best interest of the foreman to have somebody down there stopping them from doing their job. Most people will be like, that's just a rock. It's nothing. There's nothing over there. Well, flip it over and it's actually a mortar, dude. Like, that's a piece of history. And it's like, I tell them, I'm like, hey, this might not be important to you, but it's important to me and my people. And you need to look at this as American history, because this is American history. So, treat it with respect. In most parts, I mean, I've had a few rude people, but for the most part, most people are like, oh, is this something? Is this something? Is this something? Like, people are pretty down with it. So,
oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, because I was sort of looking at it the other way. There, as you said, time is money. They're like, oh man, we have to run everything by Nicholas over there. But as I said, they don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I mean, look at it the same way as like when someone takes down an American flag and retires it. What do? They bring it down, they trifold it, and they put it in like a flag drop box. Like, that's a piece of their significant culture. They would never let that touch the ground. Well, I would also never let my feathers touch the ground, or any of my ancestors' like artifacts, shells, beads, sacred things. I mean, people don't think indigenous culture is actually, no. I mean, some people don't understand that indigenous culture is sacred, but I also deem that, like, when you raise your American flag, I stand out of respect for that as well too. It's not exactly my culture, but we are on the same land, so we do share a culture. So I hope people would understand the sacredness of things, and if it's not their culture, apply it to their culture. Just like, as I said, the flag is something sacred for Americans.
Yeah. Wow. Heavy stuff. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it a little bit, Yeah, because it's seriously, it's incredibly wonderful work that you do, and I don't think anybody knows that you do it, obviously, because you're not out there bragging about it. It's not something to brag about, but it's I think people should know and understand the significance of what you do, and of of what we all do. You know what I mean? We can't just go digging around shit, and when we find something, throw it. We don't know why it's under the ground. We don't know what it is. Like, I think it sort of promotes a respect of the unknown, what you do, you know, because a lot of us don't know what Native American culture is all about, you know, and it's upset. It's really lost. And I think I personally, I've been very proud to be a part of ZH because of that, because we always, spoke up for, indigenous rights, and that was always part of our image. And that was something that I'm very proud of as just a random European white guy. It makes me feel like I'm doing something a little more significant than being just in a thrash band, you know?
Right on. Yeah, I always
Yeah.
thought what we sang about was something worth singing about. Like,
Right.
of course, I've sang about drinking and doing stupid stuff in the past, but as you get older, if you're given a voice that people are going to listen to, then you might as well say something worth listening to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done. Let's see here. I like this. It's important to share, even if it's not your culture. Respect is respect. Well put. That was what I was trying to say, but in a more succinct version. Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's cool. Are you still doing that? I know you were pretty busy with that last year and the year before.
Yeah, last year was like 40, 50-hour weeks, which was rad. This year I've gone pretty heavily on the film work, the corporate stuff. I kind of recently switched to gaffing, which is 50% of the lighting department. I mean, grip is non-electrical lighting and rigging, camera movements, and gaffing is electrical lights and electricity on set. And just to kind of like break up the routine, I've started taking as many gaffer gigs as I can, and I've had a lot of fun actually. Got to gaff like a lot of Steph Curry stuff. I'm not a Warriors fan or anything like that, but I do acknowledge that it's pretty dope that like, hey, I'm lighting up this dude right now. Hey, what's up, Mr. Curry? How's it going?
Why aren't you a Warriors fan?
I just don't like. Only sports I really follow is like 49ers. That's it. Like,
I'm gonna make you a basketball fan.
I mean, maybe I've gone to a couple of baseball games, but man, I can't get into baseball.
Oh man,
it seems way more
fun. Exactly. That's what I was just what I was gonna say.
Per game, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I will say, I always, whenever I see you at the Chase Center or something like that, I'm fucking very, very jealous. I'm like, look at him.
Send you some photos of me next to Steph Curry now.
Don't do that. Don't do that to me. All right. Well, Nick, this has been quite a beefy episode. A beefy episode fit for a beefy king like yourself. Look at that. 90,000 still viewing this episode as we speak.
I think it's still rising too. It looks
still rising.
Yeah, it's still going up.
Wow, look at it go.
I'm surprised the servers didn't break. That's what I was afraid of last time.
Well, me too, because if I know one thing about Nicholas Gomez is that the needle moves when Nick is involved. So look at that. You've which way? That way. Well, you know which way Joe's needle is pointed. Straight up.
Did we shout out to everyone? I got to say shout out to my sister Christina and brother-in-law Carlos who are watching. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the shirt. My sister
give
got
it up.
Shirt. Boom.
Shout
out to
give
my
it
mom.
up, man.
My mom was watching. She was here this past week when I went to Aftershock to watch help Monica and Alexander out while I was gone.
Sweetest lady ever.
Pendergast. Adam from Fatality. Can't forget about you, my man, and your rockin' Speedo.
I have nightmares and wet dreams about Adam's Speedo. Yeah. So what else do you got going on before we say goodbye to you? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about? I mean, God, there's so many ZH stories and things that we didn't get to, and we'll have to get to next time. But what do you got going on? Tell the people. Look in this camera. Tell the people what you got going on. I'm the Hot Ones guy now.
Let me think. There's a little movie coming out in December that I got to work on. I'm very excited to go see it. It was called Project Ice Cream at the time when I worked on it. They since changed the name to The Matrix Revolution, The Matrix Matrix 4, essentially. I'm very excited to see that. I
love telling people I know somebody that worked on The Matrix 4, by the way. Like, I feel like now I can sort of tell people, so I love telling people that.
Dan and Kate actually came out to set one night and I got to show him. I even get to show him on set. I met him on the safe zone, and then they went and saw Keanu Reeves riding a bike. It was sick. They were all excited. And then the next morning, I went to their house, and I was like, guys, I gotta go home because I gotta be at work in 9 hours. And they're like, what? You just got off. You work some crazy set because like we work for so incredibly long. It was tight. I did. Okay, you asked me a oh shit moment or whoever I met. Okay, there was a scene where Carrie Ann Moss and Keanu Reeves are jumping off a building. Like it's in the trailer. They keep doing it, right? I'm like, dude, that's fucking sick. And like that rig was, they're literally jumping off the building. Like it was crazy. We're on top
the
of
actors are the actual actors are doing it.
Real life, it's them. And we're on a skyscraper, and there's like a tether from one building to another for like a safety. There's real life helicopters above us, and there's many real life helicopters in this film, and literally to the point where they were 2-story above my head. I'm holding my equipment going, Wah! Eventually I can show you the video. Not on the internet, but in person. So anyways, he's doing his jumps, and I guess he remains in character the whole time. He keeps on like ready to go out. So he comes off one of his jumps, but doing his thing. I went inside because it's freezing, and I hear over the best thing you can hear on walkie, because we all wear walkies, is like tacos at Crafty. I'm like, fuck yeah. So like I ditch my spot and I go in line to get in the elevator, and then all of a sudden Keanu Reeves come walking up. I'm like, oh shit. And he's like in character the whole time, like, and then him and I get in the elevator together, and I'm like, I gotta say something. I go, just big dumb smile, I'm like, hi. And then he like slowly looks up and goes, hey. And then goes right back down to Keanu Reeves. I was like, oh, and then like I follow him, like he goes to his trailer or whatnot, and then I go eat these tacos at Crafty. I was like, that was the sickest thing ever. I just met Keanu Reeves at Tacos at Crafty, dude.
So wait, was he on his way to get tacos at Crafty?
I think he was, but he made a turn
to
his room first, and then he got his tacos. But like this was literally after dudes jumping off a building like 15, 20 times with helicopter shooting with like 20 military dudes. Oh, I can't tell too much, but like it's a big scene, and this dude is just like, hey, like the coolest Neo ever, dude. I met Neo. I didn't meet Keanu Reeves, dude.
I heard there's tacos at Crafty.
Tacos at Crafty, bro. That's the worst ever.
He went for a simulate.
I worked at that shop too. That was tight. That was down in the financial district, right next to where my mom worked too. And then he came out.
Shazbot was there.
We were there on the same days. Okay, I got one more story from there. My first day was at that coffee shop, and like I'm just playing it cool because it's a big movie set. You got to be cool, like so. Like I'm chilling at my grip gear, and this drunk dude comes up to me. It was like, "Hey, man, tell me what they're filming." I was like, I'm sorry, dude, I can't. And he was like, I'll give you $20,000 right now if you do. I was like, how do I know you're not a producer just testing me, dude? Like you can't offer me that kind of money. And then he legit out of one pocket pulls out $10,000, and then out of the other pocket pulls out $10,000. He's like, get me on that set, and this is yours. I'm like, bro, that is sick. I'm not willing to lose my job over that, but that's crazy. And he was drunk, and he kept making out with this lady, and the cops couldn't get him to leave for some reason. I don't know why. He ends up by like making out with this lady on my grip gear. I'm like, dude, I need you to move, bro.
Who was he?
It was just some random drunk rich dude who literally whipped out $20,000, 10 out of each pocket. He dropped some of it too, and I was like, bro, you're like dropping your money. Like, pick that shit up. But it was weird. And then we take transpo. They get us to and from set. And then I hear people telling the story, like, did you hear some dude offer this guy $20,000 to get him on set? He said no. I was like, that was me, bro. That was me.
You're like, it's not about the money, man.
I was like, right. $20,000. That means I won't be able to work on set anymore, dude. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's a nice pillow for a few months, and then
exactly.
And then, you got to get a job again.
Exactly. Yeah. Lose my career that I worked so hard on.
That's incredible. Man, I didn't even think about the producer thing. Maybe it's a producer trying to test you.
That's what I thought, because it was my first day on set. Obviously, like these guys doing it for a couple of days. Like, let's just test this fool out and see if
you're like, is it first day on set? You're like, is this normal? Do people come and offer thousands of dollars to get on set?
Right? I was like, damn, dude. If I didn't love my job so much, I would have had an extra 20 grand.
Oh my Lord! Wow, that's incredible, man. Well, that's it, man. Let's wrap this thing up. Is there anything? What do you got going on? I think I already asked you that. What else is happening? Anything you want to bring up before we say goodbye?
I'll be working hard on Cliff Burton Day because that's coming up. I'm very excited for the potential guests that we're gonna have. Like I said, even if I get like 3 or 4 of those guests, it'll be tight. So Hopefully we'll get some old guests. I know we weren't able to have Cliff Burton's sister on last year, so hopefully we'll be able to get her on again next year or this coming one. Hopefully we'll get Mike, and I don't know. I'm very excited about that. Moving forward, just working within being the guy who is blessed enough to represent Cliff Burton verbally and like however you call that I'm super stoked on that, and I'll definitely be putting tons of energy in that moving forward in the
Perhaps it's too early to tell, but or were you planning on doing it via Twitch again, sort of like you did this year?
We did Twitch. Yeah. So the only reason why I did Twitch is one, I like what you guys do here. So well, actually, let's do a shout out to JP for teaching me how to use this whole stuff, because without JP, I would not have been able to do it. I lived at 2 weeks. I was like, dude, how do I learn this stuff, man? So thank you for teaching me that. I'll probably do it on Twitch, but the reason why I chose Twitch is because it has such a nice URL, twitch.com/GomezGrip. But I might do it on advertise YouTube next year because more people are familiar with it. A lot of people are like, what's Twitch? But I mean, it'll be on, I think we did 3 broadcasts last year. So it'll be on that. It'll be on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. Okay,
very cool. Very cool. I can't wait for that, man. Cliff Burton Day is always an event, and it's getting bigger and bigger every year. It's becoming it's snowballing, as they say. And I'm really proud of you for everything that you've done, and as well as the rest of the crew behind Cliff Burton Day. Very amazing thing that you guys are doing. I'm from Castro Valley. Means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to the rest of the people that grew up listening to metal in Castro Valley, and probably in the Bay Area in general. Mm-hmm. So I really do appreciate what you do and the rest of the crew when it comes to Cliff Burton Day, and I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Right on.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, guys, this has been a hell of a show. Like I said, I didn't get to quite all the amazing stories because it's really an endless bag of fun times and stories. But we'll have Nick again on soon, and we'll just tell more stories. And maybe we'll have Dan and Jordan on that one too. Have a big, they took a lot of our time. Unfortunately, I had to talk to those guys too. But so many.
Like I said, we haven't been together in a long time.
That's true. It was an unplanned reunion, and that was very fun. Big Joe, you got anything you want to talk to Nick about before we say goodbye?
Big Joe.
I'm just happy to see his smiling face on this broadcast.
Amen.
Yeah, because you know what we're doing here right now? We're doing what we usually do normally, but for the audience. Because usually we're just Marco Poloing each other back and forth all day, baby.
That's
Joe,
true.
what are you doing? JP, what's up, man?
Joe, I noticed that you have Marco Polo Plus. That must be a dream.
Someone gifted that to me for like 2 months.
Oh, wow. You can 2 times everyone?
Yeah, but my attention span is not that good. The best thing is just to see how long the videos are, because I know how long my drives are. I'm like, all right, I have enough time to get this in.
Oh, is that part of Plus too? You get to see how long the videos are. Wow, I just go by the white bar
as well, which is something that I would definitely want to do.
Oh man, remember when there was no Plus and it was all free? Oh, those were the good days. The wild west of Marco Polo. Yeah. All right, folks, go download Marco Polo. You can talk to Nick Gomez. You can talk to me. You can talk to Big Joe. It's a great app. Anyway, it's a commercial for Marco Polo, I guess. But anyway, Nick Gomez, it's been a fantastic time. We will see you back on this broadcast soon, hopefully. And we can tell more stories and have a great time. Again, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for inviting me to join Zombie Holocaust so long ago, because it changed my life. And can't thank you enough for it.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you. I love you guys both. And I'm happy. Episode 40. That's pretty legendary. I'm stoked that I got to be the legendary guest for episode 40.
That's right. 40. Maybe you can come back for 50 too.
Sure.
52?
He's like, not 52? As good, but yeah.
Okay.
All right, Nick. We'll say goodbye now, buddy.
Love you, dudes.
Love you, man. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Peace.
Wow. What a guy.
What a nice guy.
What a nice guy. I mean, if there's ever been someone where you could say, wow, what a guy, what a nice guy, it's got to be Nick Gomez, right?
And actually mean it? Yeah.
I've meant it every single time. No, that's no lie. But sometimes you mean it more than other times.
Well, I mean, for him, yeah. But I say it for everybody.
That's true. And I feel like you mean it because you're a guy that says what you mean. You make your intentions clear. That's you.
Sometimes I just say shit just to get you to go, wow, you know.
I've
But
noticed.
you know, that's just my humor. I'm just trying to say messed up stuff to get you to kind of pee yourself just for a little bit.
Well, one thing that you used to do that you don't do anymore, I think your kids were just young enough to where you could get away with it, is they would say something in baby talk or little kid talk or something and go, yeah, whatever, I fucked your mom.
I'd always try to say that with outside of their earshot.
Well, I think they were sometimes too little to even understand what you were saying, or maybe they weren't, but oh my God, that one would kill me every time. Why did I bring that up again? I don't remember. Yeah. It's a random show. It's live. You know, you never know.
Keep it on the archives, baby.
Keep it on the archives. Oh, boy. Well, it's been a fun show. Yeah, man, this is probably might be our longest episode, 2.5 hours, you think?
I would say this is probably holding the record for sure.
Yeah, I made a special commercial break thing, which you saw during our commercial break. Just still figuring out how to use it. You know, just knocking the kinks out, and then we'll next week it'll be all fixed up.
There you go.
All right. Well, what do you say we sign off? Because what the hell are we without a guest, right? Just two dudes in black shirts. Go Sharks! NHL season starting. Look at that hat. Yep.
Got a new team.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the Kraken. I missed their game.
Kraken.
Yeah.
I watched it. It was cool. They played their first game. They played Vegas, so that was fun.
Yeah. Was there a lot of people in the crowd? Was it Kraken?
Hopefully, it was Kraken. I'm pretty sure you got a stadium full of people saying, "What's Kraken?
What's Kraken?" Oh my God,
Yeah.
I want to go to a game now just to experience that.
I was just thinking about it because I'd love to fly to Vegas and catch maybe the Sharks playing over there.
Yeah, I mean, why Vegas?
I have to travel somewhere. I think it'd be easier for me to drive to the Sacramento airport and hang out there versus driving all the way to San Jose, which would be like, what, a 3-4 hour drive.
I didn't even think about that. Wow.
Might as well do something kind of fun. And, you know, I've always had this. It was always fun all the time I spent at the Oakland airport, you know, and those next to the Coliseum. The times I'd have to spend over there at the airport, I would see people getting off of a flight dressed in Raiders gear, like multiple people, and they just hop on the, you know, the little tram and then not even have to hop on BART and just get off and go right to the Coliseum.
Wow, that makes sense. Yeah,
you know,
people
flying in to go see the Raiders play, you know, and I was like, man, that would be fun. I want to do that.
Well, how about you know, if you don't feel like going to Vegas, because there's a lot of temptation in Vegas. Let's be real. You can fly down here to Orange County. We'll catch a Ducks game. Sharks game, then we'll take you back to the airport, fly back up. You're like, no, it doesn't sound as fun. I can tell by your face already. You're like, no, I have my heart set on Vegas.
Just getting out and doing anything, you know. I mean, just like I said, I get to do it. Sky's the limits.
That is my new, trying to not say mantra, because I think that word, I don't really truly know what it means, and I think everyone uses it. But I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to be about it. As they say, I get to do this. I don't have to do this. I get to do this, and I have you to thank for that, Joe. It's a new look on life.
And you know what? It's a mighty fine way to live.
I love it. Well, with those fine words, I want to thank everybody for joining us today on the Morning After with JP and Big Joe. Really appreciate everybody that joins and hits us up in the chat. We try to involve everybody. Thank you to those who watched on the replay. Love you guys. Thank you for checking out YouTube. You can catch us at The Morning After TV. Big Joe's at Big Joe 616. I'm at JP_SRB. Who cares? This is Instagram. Who gives a shit? Be sure to check out ZH. I forgot to mention Zombie Holocaust. You can check them out on Instagram at ZH Rocks. Great band. Be sure to follow us. So we love when you follow. Really helps us out. Subscribe, all that stuff that you do for content creators. Ugh, that term makes me cringe. Content creators. I don't feel like a content creator. I'm a host, you know, not a content creator. What would you rather be, a host or a content creator? Content creator.
I'm just a fat guy that talks shit.
Oh my God, true that. But you're getting less fat by the day. You're disappearing on me, Big Joe.
I'm
right.
trying.
Folks, send an email to us, morningaftertv@gmail.com. I know this is a lot to remember, so I'll stop right there. Love you guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week, 11 o'clock, live, as always. Don't have a guest next week. I think it's just going to be me and the big man. So join us then. We will see you then. We love you all. Thank you for joining us. And for Big Joe, I'm JP. We'll see you next week. Bye now.